There we go. We just got a Pokemon Go to the polls. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first presidential debates 2020, the Sundown Showdown, as Matt has aptly named it. Also
amply named it.
He is ample.
With an ample name.
One of these boys is quite ample. Am I getting some feedback?
I had to turn it off twice. Stupid bullshit.
It's okay. Hello, ladies and germs. Can you hear us? You're getting a lot of happy birthdays in the chats.
Thank you. See that, everyone.
So we're here with birthday boy Matt Chrisman, and of course Blowback's own Noah Colwyn. Hello, Noah.
Howdy.
I'm not on a laptop mic, actually, asshole. I got this thing, so explain that. It's plugged in.
Stop razzing Matt in the chat, please. We're gonna start with good vibes. We're gonna start the night with good vibes before the vibes quickly alter and descend into what could go many ways. The vibes could go sideways, up, down, backwards. So
now, this is like one of the only things that has anything like an undetermined outcome in this whole process, because someone could shit their pants audibly. That could happen. Probably won't, but it could.
Yeah, this is one of the few vectors that chaos can still enter this election, you know?
Yeah, someone might roll the apple of Eris into the middle of the room and see what sprouts forth.
But I'm going to start tonight while we're waiting for this to go on. I realize I should have queued up another thing first, but I'm going to start with some good vibes. Where do I have this all pulled up? And play a thing that I played on a few episodes together. Scranton Roots, the Joe Biden vaporwave video.
That doesn't sound cool.
Yeah, he's cool. He's an Avenger. He's got vaporwave vibes.
Went to the big guys.
He's glitched and loving it.
Well, isn't vaporwave about
But what happened was they said come back.
the whole thing obsolete?
And so I had to go out.
Nostalgia for something that didn't even exist.
Yeah, it's
That was
like
a bit dry, quite dazzling.
yeah, it's the vibe of watching old episodes of Baywatch on a ruined VHS, but it's Joe Biden.
I mean, that's accurate because that's what he is. He's a many times taped over VHS cassette full of the modern Democratic Party's greatest hits.
We choose truth over facts.
Somebody who you put your Bill Clinton VHS, you recorded one too many episodes of Matlock over it.
Yeah, you got they taped over Carter with Dukakis, with Clinton, got a little Obama in there, and now here he is.
This is by YouTuber Sunny MCS. I quite enjoyed finding this.
Pokemon go to the polls.
Can't hear it. Does it sound good?
I think so.
Can you give me an approximation of what it sounds like?
You've got kind of shimmery synthesizer sounds. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the band Washed Out. They did the theme to Portlandia.
But what happened was they said come back.
It's like that, but
Okay,
slower,
yes,
and then slower and kind of more low key, and with some Joe Biden quotes mixed in. You know, you got him yelling about you got a corn pop. You got the hairy legs. We choose truth over facts.
We do choose truth over facts. I actually think that's kind of profound. Because facts, the idea of facts is like mere artifacts. They can be compiled in any direction. The devil quotes statistics.
What was that Reagan line? It was like
facts are stupid things.
The thing that you said about about Iran Contra. He's like, well, my heart tells me.
Oh yeah, it's like my heart says that it's not true, but the facts tell me something else. Yeah.
And there's a man with a healthy relationship to reality.
Yeah. I do like the thing with the @truth, where it just shows how much is that no one really understands how much we've destroyed the social fabric and consensus reality with the internet, especially old people in charge of political parties and campaigns. So they're doing a cargo cult approach. They're going to try to resurrect a neutral, trusted third-party authority out of the word truth, which is pretty impressive.
Well,
it's just like this is the apes around the obelisk type thinking, and I appreciate it. And of course, it doesn't work. It just has to convince the idiots at the DNC to cut $1 billion check for all the consultants to buy the @truth hash account, and then pay all those geniuses for thinking up the idea.
How much do you think the guy squatting on that got paid?
It depends on who it was. Like if
I reached out to
I have no idea. I'd like to find out how
They
much.
just paid some Slovenian teen.
Well, wait a minute.
60 grand.
This should be public record, right? If the party paid for it, it should be public record. I would like to know how much they paid for the.
Yeah, all right.
for
The
handle.
next quarterly FEC disclosures, I will make sure to go through and look for it.
It might already be available, but I don't know.
That person played an incredible 13-year long game when they registered that account in 2007. How could they have known that it would be the Joe Biden campaign rescuing it from them?
It's so great. Everyone has a vague understanding that there's no third-party objective reality. There's no consensus reality. But if enough people see the word truth, it will somehow imprint on them as that, even though it's a fucking DNC Twitter account. It's pretty amazing.
Here, this next video, I know you can't even hear it, but this one's for the chat and for Matt. Here is the 2019 official TikTok Happy Birthday Trap remix. This is a happy birthday song for Matt for the modern era.
Oh.
I'll take your word for it. I'll have my head go up and down like I'm appreciating.
I couldn't find a K-pop happy birthday to play for you, so I figured this was about as good as I could.
Everybody, let's sing happy birthday.
Just gonna listen to 1 second.
That's not true. I couldn't find it. I didn't look for it until now.
That's right. Couldn't find
Go to the polls.
That's right.
Matt, we really never thought we were. There was a time this year where we were fairly certain that this day would never happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty convinced it's going to be bad, and they're going to have their best behavior. But they did try all they could to prevent this from happening. Damn.
Why is it happening?
I guess it's just. I think the answer to that is the same answer to a lot of shit. Just momentum. Just that's what we do. That's what we have done, and that's what we shall do. We don't know how to do anything else.
I don't know. It seemed like something would be different this time. It seemed like one of them would chicken out. But honestly, for the myriad ways in which Donald Trump is a coward, I do think maybe in the end, like backing down from public debate is just something he could not countenance.
Also, he's not afraid of Biden. Like, that's a big part of it. I'm pretty convinced he wouldn't have debated Bernie. But he definitely will debate Biden because he's not scared of him. He does think that he's completely brain dead and zombified, and that he's going to be a pushover, just like he thought Hillary was going to be a pushover.
So at what point do you think that is actually correct intuition on behalf of the president, or has he just getting high on his own supply? Is he seeing the memes like we're all seeing the memes, and he has just become to believe that at this point?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to believe. I mean, Biden seems like he very well could be out to lunch in some way. I mean, he's been okay in public with appearances he's needed to be, but there's no guarantee that's going to hold off. But the thing about Trump is, like, even if Biden isn't as senile as he's worried he is, he's still confident that he can get some zingers off by repeating himself and snorting and being churlish, which worked in the past.
insubordinate, and churlish. Any other any suggestions in the chat for a good birthday video to play for Matt? Also, no, these are not my YouTube recommendations. They're from this third-party app, the Watch Together. They also have all these like weird videos about like cartoon llamas down here.
I don't know, man. I think you're really into hot ladies serving you some sort of breakfast food. Is that what that is?
All my Google searches are like hot, like raw chicken brazier.
Stream cooking, brah.
I knew you were a sicko, Chris. I knew it.
Let's see if any of these things are worth watching. I'll see if I can pull
Oh
some.
shit, is that Brad Hart still there? In the red hat? It kind of looks like him.
I don't think so.
Oh no, that guy's too thin.
Oh, I like these. What is this like a? Is this like a Team Fortress thing?
Pokemon
I like these.
Go to the polls.
Here we go. Here's one for you.
Oh, what's that guy?
He's wishing you happy birthday in a pleasant MIDI flute way.
Don't we love it? Don't we love it?
He got a big old chicken head of some kind.
Oh wow.
Is he a Fortnite character? He appears to be.
He's in the video game Team Fortress, but they replaced his head. Ordinarily that guy is a bald head, but here he's a bird.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the innovation.
There's like a.
Oh wow.
I reached out to
Now there's a Brontosaurus.
You know, it helped me out a lot.
What is
Didn't
going
they
on?
change the name of Brontosaurus?
You winning?
Yes.
You winning?
Patasaurus?
Oh shit! I think we've got after this video. I think we've got some action on the C-SPAN stream. I can switch over there.
Oh yeah, we're starting. They're tapping. They're starting to tap gloves and that kind of thing.
They're doing the weigh-in.
Yeah.
Would this be
Yeah.
would this be the point in which they both?
They're doing the way in. They broke the elevator.
Would this be the point in which, if Trump had his way, they would both reach into each other's ears, and feel around in there to see if there was an earpiece? I would like to see that visual. All right, say goodbye to Chicken Man.
Do you think?
I don't think he will.
Wait, he brings up the earpiece, and then Joe Biden has to poke his ears on TV.
I just think they should touch each other's ears.
They can't touch each other because of the COVID restriction.
Look, this is more important. Some things are more important than COVID, like a presidential election. The sanctity.
Apparently, they already agreed to like something about like how like one fist bump. Like they already have like these fucking rules for it.
All right, folks.
Well, chat asking, I actually also did have a Euro earlier. I didn't know I wanted to get some food.
Oh, I hadn't had dinner.
So I wanted a couple, which I just said a couple slices.
What are they fucking like?
What happened with the Brontosaurus is that there were two different big types of dinosaurs like that, and they realized, oh no, this is actually just one species. And they like consolidated them.
Don't we love
Which
it?
Yeah.
I think also happened with Triceratops.
There were different kinds of Triceratops.
Well, there was Triceratops and Torosaur. And then they realized, oh no, like a Torosaur is just a smaller Triceratops or something like that.
Go to the polls.
I don't know. It sounds fishy to me.
Well, it's all made up.
Dinosaurs.
That's like
Dinosaurs are
Pluto
made up.
thing. It's so funny.
Dinosaurs are made up. I mean, literally, they like find a bunch of weird bones, and then they just decide how they fit together. You don't know.
I like the one. There was a large dinosaur controversy where, like, for 60 years, one guy had just put the head on the tail of a dinosaur and was like, "Yeah, that's how it goes."
Exactly. They're made up. I'm not saying that there weren't large beasts that roam the earth, but we don't know what the hell they look like. Hell, until recently, they thought they had scales, and now they're like, the motherfuckers got motherfucking feathers. They're giant fucking birds. Used to think they were lizards. Pretty soon they're going to find out they were humans.
Don't we love it?
Really weird-shaped humans. It's Noah Colwyn, Jesus Christ.
What? Who do they think it is?
They don't know. They're all freaking out.
I like this. I'm glad I dressed up and shaved.
Yeah.
Cut my hair.
So someone should ask them if what they're going to do about the fact that dinosaurs aren't real.
The debate. If they did a town hall, that would be a good question. How are we going to solve this dinosaur problem?
Yeet. I know they're not real. I've seen the movie. I know it's fake. Well, he has like. Do you think Donald Trump has ever like thought consciously about dinosaurs?
Maybe he saw Jurassic Park. He thought, ooh, those guys, bad guys.
They're big guys.
Guys. That's about it.
He's like, they get in the Jeep to go on the tour. I would never do that.
Well, look, he ran away. He ran away to the bathroom. Wouldn't go there.
And look, it's a lawyer. It's like you, Michael.
Yeah.
Michael, it's you.
You got eaten by the. That's dumb.
Virgil has told us that to expect him around 8:45.
Ooh.
I wonder why.
Amber will be
that.
coming on shortly
I
thereafter.
wonder why and not be at the beginning. He loves to make an entrance.
He does. I mean, drinking various beverages and shitting.
I reached out to Takashi.
He does love shitting on
He helped
beverages.
me out a lot. He just said, "Fuck all the haters, man."
More
We winning,
more
we
streams
winning."
about shitting and beverages.
The sound effects are off. We figured that out.
I have done what I can to turn off the sound alerts. Sound alerts are disabled. Oh, and Felix also said he'll be here in a bit. Excellent. We might only be missing Will tonight because he is in a place with bad internet. Oh yeah, I can get captions rolling on this.
Does that stuff with the alerts mean that while we're watching the RNC, there would just be like, "Ong bing, blorp, blip, blorp."
Yeah, a little bit. There are weirder alerts too.
What makes noises?
The alert box. It's telling us that people have subscribed. Thank you for the subscriptions. If I was a
reached
good
out
Twitch
to
streamer, I'd be
Takashi.
like, Jewel
He helped me out a
Haver.
lot.
Thanks
He
for the
just said,
subscription.
"Fuck all the
Welcome,
haters,
Jewel
man.
Haver.
We winning.
But you know what? I'm not a professional Twitch streamer. I Dialect. Thanks for the sub. Welcome to the channel, I Dialect.
Always proud to see another dialectician.
Don't we love it? Don't we love it?
Oh, who's that?
Yeah.
Yeet.
No, we got to have all the Takashi sounds.
That's Ruth Gator Binsberg.
There. That turns them off.
She pulls
Until
out
then,
the
get all your subs in now. Chelsea
Good
Kai,
evening,
thanks for the
ladies and
sub.
gentlemen. If I could ask
we go.
everyone to take their seat, please.
Dude, this rocks. I'm so excited. This is going to be so dumb.
My name is Janet Brown. I'm Executive Director of the Commission on Presidential Debates, and I'd like to welcome you to the first presidential debate of 2020. There
Thank
are
you,
a lot
Janet.
of people who have made extraordinary contributions to making this evening possible.
I like that she's just
And
wearing
in a few
like a
moments,
fleece
you will hear from
jacket.
two of our co-chairs to start the appreciation.
Is that like
to
just a
those
Helly Hansen
who have
jacket or
helped.
whatever?
Our third co-chair,
Marmot?
Dot Ridings, is in Louisville, Kentucky tonight. Her leadership
It would be
in
great
debates
if
goes back
like
to
either Biden or
1976
Trump
and includes the
insisted that the
presidency of the
temperature
League
in
of
the room
Women
be
Voters.
kept at like 45 degrees.
The CPD is the beneficiary
Oh, they both
of
did.
3 years' worth of people who have been willing to put their name
It's probably
on our work.
fucking refrigerator.
To all of those former
Oh, yeah.
Those
presidents
old
and
fucks.
chancellors of debate sites.
It was
to
probably
former
warmer in the
moderators,
fucking
to
icebox
members
with
of the Debates
Carbone at the end of
International Network
Goodfellas.
who have set their clocks to 3
They
a.m.
arrive that they
tomorrow
like
morning
deliver them in
to
like
live.
freezers.
We thank you with all our hearts. In 1987, Paul
Really keep that
Kirk
on your-
co-founded the
Ah.
CPD. I'd
I
like
mean,
to introduce the
You want to put it
co-chair,
on the... Here, I'll just put it on the fucking...
Frank Fahrenkopf, and his colleague are also our co-chair, Ken Wall,
All right,
to start
what's in the
this part of the
chat?
program.
This debate brought to you by CBD, low
Thank you,
energy.
Janet, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Health Education Campus.
I'm honestly can't even believe that they're going to be in the same room.
Clinic. And if you have not had the
This has like a
opportunity
90% chance
go around
of
and see
being
this
disappointing, but a
fantastic
10% chance of
facility,
being
you
kind of
really should.
electric.
Dude, like I mean, it's also I think it'd be really funny, like with the APAC conference, how people got COVID from there. Like I think it was a super spreader event or whatever. And if like this turned out to be the same way, because like I don't know, Eric Trump like golfed with like a friend who gave him it or whatever. Like that would be amazing.
We normally don't.
Be
Eric Trump had COVID.
No. I'm just saying that like if he
did, okay.
If somebody were to turn this into a super spreader event, I think that would be
of the debates. We have
honestly possible optimal outcome.
Of 65
straight up.
It would rock if both Trump and Biden got COVID before the election.
Go back to the first debates in 1988.
I mean, at least one of them. I mean, like Boris Johnson like faked it, and that worked out really well for him. He got like a whole bump. He got like he like used it when he was in the spot of bother or whatever, and it got him out. And I think that they should do the same thing for this election. Which candidate should do it? I don't know.
Bush has been with us for 28 years.
It would be great if by the third debate they were arguing about who has more COVID.
In Washington, D.C.
Who has more antibodies? Yeah. I mean,
I have the best antibodies.
I think that he'll... Although didn't like Stephen Miller's wife get it or something? Somebody like in like proximity or whatever.
In the hotel.
Yeah, there were like... 2 or 3 different people in the West Wing who had like a scare.
Filing center.
I'm sure.
I guess is about 7
I mean, they like
in there today.
Those people are like. I mean, they're yes is the answer.
In the media filing center. And so,
oh yeah, fan's a good idea.
The cut down. We've had the, you can look at this audience. We normally have 900
I just got a T-5 from Mr. Texas.
People are very fortunate.
Folks, I will fuck with the volume in a little bit when it isn't two boring idiots that you've never seen talking.
For those journalists in Washington,
they're cool guys,
and so we're very, very thankful for that. Many of you, I see faces here. I've known.
I will not turn up the idiots. Stop yelling at me to turn up the idiots. I'll turn it up when the more famous idiots get on.
Close to 100.
Frank Fahrenkopf?
Watching.
What did his dad do during the war?
It'll be on their TV sets. It'll be on their computers. It'll be on their iPads. It'll be on their iPhones. They're listening on the radio.
Frank Totenkopf?
And those 120 million or however
like from
deserve to be able to listen and observe on this stage tonight. These two men put forth the reasons why they
yes,
should
Homestar
be
440. He is a Operation Paperclip descendant.
That's why it's been our history in the general election debates that we urge our audiences not to clap, not to yell, to sit silently.
Be good little boys.
These people who are trying to just ascertain who they're going to vote for. Now, exactly at 9 you're going to hear a lot of noise behind you. If you turn around now, you can take a quick look. There's 3 on this side and 3 on this side. And these are the major nets. And at 9 sharp, you're going to hear them all go on air. And so
wait a minute, that wasn't. Yeah, there it is.
And I must, at the end, really
he waited to go on to do that. I guarantee you.
Saw on your way here.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
United States Secret Service.
How long ahead of time did you plan that
investigation?
Coughing intro yourself.
Oh, the coughing bit? I've been working on that for a few months now.
Yeah, I can tell.
It had a very sharp feel to it.
Yeah.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Good evening on this beautiful debate night in America. Before we get started here, I have to wish a happy birthday to our good friend and collaborator, Rocker Jerry Lee Lewis, turning 85 today.
Ran the National Democratic Institute.
Only 85. Wow, I thought he was old.
Wait, what? I thought he was like a fossil. Speaking of dinosaurs,
85 is pretty old.
I thought he was old too, but no, he's only 85.
No, I thought he was like 100.
Fellow board members,
like those,
including
85. 85 is still really old.
Who are with us
older than I.
Welcoming you.
Virgil, will we be expecting to see your sweet face tonight?
By the Commission on Presidential.
It just
no, probably
not.
The
Commission's newest
all right.
co-chair.
Well, then I'm gonna.
I mean, it'll be like
a kid on the block.
Okay. Well, it just affects what I do over here on this side, so I will bring up your on the phone.
For the past 33 years.
What is that? What do you mean by this?
I have a on the phone Virgil Texas graphic.
A view shared by.
What is the graphic?
It's a picture of you that I've crudely written the words "calling in" under.
But as significant as debates have become here, they can be even more consequential overseas.
Virgil,
where the
what can we
commission,
expect to see tonight?
in partnership with the National Democratic Institute.
Oh, what can we
has
expect to
organized
see
more than
tonight? I haven't the foggiest idea, really. This is either going to be the best thing we've ever watched, or just one of the worst things we've ever watched.
Debates have helped level the
Yeah,
playing field.
I agree. No middle ground here.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of upside, a lot of downside, but I think the thing that, like, you know, commands my excitement is that, like, I mean, like, honestly, it's just that, like, Trump is sort of, like, demonstrably behind. He is, like, down with, like, if the election were held today, like, the odds are in the favor of Biden. And I think that, like, that position of being behind, like, obviously that was the dynamic of 2016, but now he's, like, the fucking president. So I think that, like, there is an incentive for him to do something that's characteristically Trump. Like, remember, like, he wants to recreate, like, if his team is telling him anything, it's just, like, recreate the feeling that you had when, like, you made Jeb Bush cry. Like, do, like, and if he does that, and they don't play it safe, then, like, we're in for, like, a special show.
Yeah, but what's he going to do? He doesn't have anything on Biden. None of his attacks on Biden have landed at all. So it's going to be confusing anything he does.
That's the contingency of history, man. That is the
what he has on Biden is that Biden is 900 years old, and that he very well might fucking glitch out.
But that's the same as equally true of him.
No, it's not nearly. Trump is. He might be gibberish, but it's gibberish that everyone has accommodated at this point. He's an old man who rambles, but his rambling has now been absorbed. We understand what it means. Biden is scarily out there and what do you call it? Disoriented in the way that Trump isn't.
I get the gist of what Biden says. We don't get the gist of it. Oh, and here he is right now.
Oh, once again, you might, because you've been watching and paying attention for 2 years to this shit. I'd say most people, when they see Biden now, are just alarmed and are like, what's going on with him?
That's just how old people get it. That's just how old people are. They get the gist. They see this and they're like, oh, yeah, this makes sense to me.
Okay, whatever. What are we even talking about then?
What a good time we're gonna have tonight. We're gonna have a great time. I'm gonna pour myself a glass of wine.
On behalf of Cleveland Clinic, it is my pleasure to welcome you.
I'm just saying the only thing he can do is try to rattle his cage and get him to fucking glitch out, which he has done in a way Trump has not.
Of the health education
Trump doesn't stop his sentences in the middle and go, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Which is different. When you're running for president, you shouldn't run out of confidence in your statement 2 words into it. Trump doesn't do that. He plows through every sentence.
Nursing and dental to
I should
begin
have
their
known that.
professional journeys by learning together as teams. At that time, as we were opening this campus, none of us
the thing is
imagined
that
that we would soon face
Biden really does have
When it happened,
many bad
we
things in his record that if Trump
this building
is smart, could challenge
into
him
a
on, like Bernie did, and that
COVID-19
gets him very mad.
hospital.
I mean, it'll Biden. I mean, it's. I think, like, last time Biden lied about fucking Social Security and nobody gave a shit, and it's like, actually, that would be pretty funny if, like, Trump goes after Biden on Social Security when it's like, if the Republican, like, Trump would obviously be fine with, like, cutting Social Security to shreds, but it's like going to be this entire fake argument that they're going to have on stage for the entertainment of everybody.
We are proud to support the Commission on
India.
Presidential Debates.
Are you doing trivia? Are you watching Jeopardy, Virgil?
No, I'm watching The Weakest Link. Didn't you see the ads for The Weakest Link? It premieres tonight. With Jane Lynch hosts it now.
Nearly 100.
What do you say?
Well, tonight we're going to find out.
What an idiot! This guy. Oh my God! Okay, Matt. This question was, with 900 million voters, what's the biggest democracy in the world? And this guy said the United States.
Brought out the best.
Was this Matt Iglesias? Saint Bernard.
Through partnership and collaboration.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're going to sure find out who the weakest presidential link is tonight.
Let's go.
There we go.
University. With that, I would like to introduce my.
She is wearing Marge's dress.
Dude, I can't fucking shake it. It's like really wild.
Barbara Snyder.
She's wearing it's the
Chanel suit.
Yeah.
This is after 3 or 4 alterations.
Yeah, this is. Although hers also, the pockets look like they have eyebrows.
Yeah, it looks like her shirt is an angry man.
Yeah, if I was on LSD, I'd be pretty upset
Research
about
has long
this.
shown that team-based healthcare leads to better
Close to
outcomes
90%
for
of viewers
patients.
surveyed
Yet
said they
nearly
are,
every
so
academic
we'll see how that
institution
figures into
continues to
their
prepare
decision on who won the debate.
students in separate buildings.
Survey says, and
Silence.
brought to you by Cindy
After
Gottlieb.
spending years learning only with students
With
from
the
same
panel
profession,
moderators, Frank
doctors
Luntz
with
and
doctorates,
Jolly West.
nurses with nurses and so on.
Oh,
They are
where's
suddenly expected
Frank?
Got
to
it.
know how to
Okay,
work
which
in
Boom.
teams
which news
once they get their
network is
diplomas.
giving Frank Luntz
We
his
knew there had to be a
focus
better
group
way, and
to
together
like broadcast
we
on
built it.
television, where you
We're
ask
not
like a
filled with a
fucking like
stage and
waiter at
seats.
the Golden
This
Corral
atrium gives
in
hundreds of
like Wheeling,
students
West Virginia,
a
what they
huge
thought.
open space to
Think about what
study,
Frank Luntz
talk,
did,
and
for what
simply
he
be
has.
together. The entire
I mean,
building
obviously, you know,
Self-contained
multiple
underwater breathing
spaces
apparatus.
for them to come together,
Uh,
supported by an academic
Obviously,
model
nobody
that
is morally
emphasizes
responsible for
opportunities
the
to learn
horrifying
with
drift that we
and
find
from
ourselves
He got
into.
it.
It's a
He got it.
collaborative
Add
project.
state-of-the-art
But
technology,
The mustache
and
guy
we
guy,
know
he's the
our
strongest link.
graduates will be uniquely
He's got blood
prepared to
on his hands
excel
for
in
sure.
team-based care
And what did it buy
and
him?
ultimately
What did the
to
blood
lead
money
it.
buy him? A
Along
big
the way,
house with a
Cleveland
fake,
Clinic and
no
Case Western
family,
Reserve
a
also
big house
learned
with a fake
from one
movie
another.
theater, and like
Among the
a
most valuable
giant ship in a
lessons
bottle,
was that through
and
like
like
we achieve far more
like
than
some
either
mountain
of
lion
us could
bones.
achieve alone.
And he
Thank you,
watches
Tom, for being
This
such
is
a
not a lot of
wonderful
money.
colleague and friend.
80-inch television.
Thank you to the Commission
It's
for
really
giving
grim.
both of our
These
organizations
people
the
truly
opportunity
are,
to be part of this historic event. It is a true
I've got to
tribute
break in
to
here.
our
I've got to break
nation's
in with a call. The
democratic
mustache
process.
guy won.
And thank you all for watching.
He is the strongest link. He's the guy who said that the United States had 900 million people in it. And he has won. He has won.
Doesn't seem fair.
Thank you, Tom and Barbara, very much.
Oh, are these? Is this the Trump's family?
Award for this
Yeah, remember though that
Toby
weakest
Cosgrove.
and strongest
We couldn't
links
have done it
are
without you.
relative, so he might be the strongest link
One
relative to
housekeeping
everyone
bit
else out there.
For the audience,
Just sobering
as
thought.
soon as this
Yeah,
debate is over,
really.
if you will please remain seated, you will be shown which way
You're
to
only as good as your
exit.
weakest player.
Yeah.
And please stay where you are until that
They're the same
happens.
to us.
I would like to now introduce Chris Wallace,
Where is it? Why aren't they
the
showing
moderator
it?
of this evening's
Go
debate.
contemplate my decisions that led me to this point.
Yeah,
Be
good
back in a
idea.
few minutes.
We should all do.
The families are walking in. They're not showing it.
They showed the families walking in.
I don't know. I'm trying to find it on TV.
We're watching on C-SPAN.
I don't have C-SPAN.
C-SPAN 2.
They appear to have muted Chris Wallace.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
he's not making the audio.
I'm not getting any audio here.
Me either, so it's not us.
All right, great. That's pretty funny. Where the fuck is the? Give me the Wallace. Show me the Wallace.
Give me the Wallace, free my soul.
Let me
Wanna
hear-
get along with the rock and roll and drift away.
Let me hear that Wallace.
Oh, yeah, well, take me. Oh, take me.
So Joe Biden's the real kind of doctor, right? We established that.
No, she is not the real kind of doctor.
She's
a fake
not.
Doctor.
Well, she's
No,
like an
doctor of
anthropologist or
education.
something.
Doctor of education, not a real doctor. You must
Oh my
stress that.
God. Oh my God.
Like a history professor or something. Not
There
a real
needs to be
doctor.
another word for people like that. Like, we can't be calling these people doctor. That's confusing.
I agree. We need to either give a different word for the medical kind, the real ones, or a new word for them. I don't care
Let's
which
stick with
one.
doctor.
Settle it out. Settle it. I'm sick of it.
Let's stick with doctors for the real ones. And if you're like a PhD or something, we'll call you a magister.
Sure.
Magister is nice. I like magister. Magister by.
Yeah, magister by. Yeah, it's great. It's dignified. It's cool.
There's Eric Trump, member of the LGBT community.
This rocks. I'm very glad that C-SPAN is fucking this up.
It's very funny. Does no one know that you can't hear these motherfuckers? Might have to change. Did it come on yet?
I'm gonna restart this.
This is a pretty shitty debate stage. This is a very like community theater look to it.
Oh, it's chintzy as shit.
Is anybody in the chat watching C-SPAN and getting any audio? Is this true? Is this truly not us?
I heard clapping on C-SPAN. That's it.
CNN is audio. It is muted. Okay, I really want to stick with C-SPAN for the use of a public feed.
C-SPAN is not public. I just want to be clear. I want to be clear on this. C-SPAN is not public. It's not run by the United States government. It's run by a consortium of the cable companies. It is a private entity.
Wait, I just got audio. Maybe his instructions to the elect who get to be there were secret.
I think it was. I think it was secret instructions.
Yes, it was all a Freemasonic ritual. They were reciting the words about the killing of the king at the 33rd degree of latitude.
No. All right. Well, what's the deal?
So next up is like the Gregorian chant.
Yeah. How do you get closed caption?
Did you get rid of it?
Well, I didn't put it on. I mean, it was on and then it came off.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody's talking.
Like he was talking. It was weird. So like. He was talking. There was no audio, and there was no caption either. So yeah, it must have been like secret instructions. What's going on?
Fuck me.
Just all the procession of the people from Eyes Wide Shut coming forward.
Yeah, right. They just start funking and sunking.
Oh, come on. Give us audio. I mean, something's clearly wrong. They're holding on this position way too long. Maybe Trump has backed out last
Jesus
minute.
Christ. The goddamn audio doesn't work. Remember when the Super Bowl went dark in the middle of this?
This is silence on the screen.
Remember when the Super Bowl went dark? You guys remember when the fucking lights went out in the Superdome or some shit?
I do remember.
Yeah, no.
Chris, check for the audio under Pharrell's hat.
Everything is falling apart.
Who is telling me Orinoco Flow? I will put on Orinoco Flow.
Get audio technician Bruce Dackler in there.
Indeed, silence. Silence. Silence.
Dude, man, the RNC used to be so much fun. Like, fucking the printer. Remember that?
Printer?
The RNC printer where you could, like, tweet stuff at it and it had a live camera and stuff printed out.
We Lord Boner Hitler.
Yeah.
Still don't get the joke behind Bruce Dackler. What's the point of that? Is that a reference to someone?
Yeah, it's a reference to you.
Oh, no.
Fucking got it.
I don't know, man. It seems like they're actually doing it somewhere else. Oh, there he is. We got no audio.
It's starting now.
It is?
Okay.
Are they coming on?
Yeah, they're coming on right now.
All right, let me see if I can find a better feed.
All I got is Chris Wallace at the table with no silence. There it is. It's bad. Now it's bad.
All right, wait, let's see.
Silence!
All right, I'm looking what I can do.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, Chris, I've got it on the TV and it's going.
All right, it looks like we're a little behind because Chris Wallace is not talking.
Well, isn't it behind anyway? Like the Twitch is going to be behind us, right?
A little bit.
By definition.
Good evening.
There, he just started talking.
Campus of Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic. I'm Chris Wallace.
All right, well, we'll see how this goes.
You're about 30 seconds behind.
2020 presidential debates between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden.
We'll see how this goes.
This debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. The
I'm
Commission
going to pause
has
so I'm
designed the
synced up
format,
with you.
6 roughly 15-minute segments with 2-minute answers from each candidate to the first question, then open discussion for the rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to these rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. I can assure you, none of the questions has been shared with the Commission or the 2 candidates. This debate is being conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Cleveland Clinic, which is serving as the health security advisor to the commission for all 4 debates.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do.
What's it? Wait, you're not getting any audio?
The candidates
No, I'm getting it. They're
shake
just telling me to
hands
shut
at
it
the
down.
beginning of tonight's debate.
It's fine. Don't ignore
The
that.
audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, no boos or other interruptions, so we, and more importantly you, can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now, as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
Ooh, he is looking gooey.
How you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court. President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong? And where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this segment, you go first, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic, good in every way, In fact, some of her biggest
beautiful in every way.
I
have a baby brother.
From Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time, even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding. She's going to be as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel that. We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly would say otherwise. And by the way, the Democrats, they wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they'd try and do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen in reverse. So we won the election, and we have the right to do it, Chris.
President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing this, and looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Thank you,
Joe. The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is, and that say occurs when they vote for a United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is, because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president. Now, what's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that. He ran on that, and he.
Matt, you can unmute your audio. It's fine.
He's in the Supreme Court right now, trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
It's fine,
which
Matt.
Will strip 20 million people from having insurance, health insurance now, if it goes into court. And the justice, and I have nothing. I'm not opposed to the justice.
Oh, there's 12,000 people watching this. It's pretty good.
But she's written before she
well,
went to
yeah.
the bench, which is her
Thanks.
right,
Welcome to the chat.
she thinks that.
Thanks for watching, all those watchers out there in Twitch land.
The other thing that's on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens?
This
Women's
sucks.
rights are
This
fundamentally
sucks.
changed. Once again, a woman could be pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man gets, and that ended. when we, in fact, passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away as well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this. And so it's just not appropriate to do this before this election. If he wins the election and the Senate is Democrat or Republican, then he goes forward. If not, we should wait until February. All right.
There aren't 100 million people with pre-existing conditions. As far as the say is concerned, the people already had their say. Okay, Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so,
there's absolutely 100 million people with pre-existing conditions. That is 100% true.
Basically,
there's way more than 100 million.
Basically, everybody has a pre-existing condition. Being alive is a pre-existing condition.
He's elected to the next
during
election.
that
It's very punk sentiment, Chris.
Thank you. I'm working on my EP.
Your punk capital steps, Dan. Being alive is a pre-existing condition.
Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care.
By the way, folks, I have for this debate devised a Malarkey meter. I don't know if you can see this, Virgil.
I see it. I see the Malarkey level.
We have gone. I think that Joe has detected the first level of Malarkey. If any of you guys want to tell me that I should bump it up for this, it goes from one
of the big debates we had
all the way
of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won. We're
Malarkeys.
saying that Biden wanted to allow people
So,
to
if
have
at any
private
point
insurance.
anybody thinks that we
They
should
can.
turn up the
They
Malarkeys, I'd
do.
be glad to
They
hear
will,
it.
under my proposal.
Not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your party
is-
has said.
that is simply
your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your
That
party
is
wants
simple.
to go socialist
My
medicine
party is
and
me.
socialist
Right
healthcare.
now, I am
and
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right
The
now.
party, c'est
The
moi.
form of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of. What I approved of. Now, here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out
Malarkey right there.
pre-existing
You're gonna
conditions. And by
bump
the
that
way,
one
I'm going to bump that up to 2 Malarkeys.
The 200,000 people that
Oh,
have
yeah.
died on his watch, how many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million people that contracted COVID. What does it mean for them going forward if you strike down the Affordable Care Act? And
Joe, you've had
this is-
308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm
about
happy
this.
to talk about
And
this.
if you were here,
Look,
it
here's
wouldn't
the
be
deal.
200, it would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You
Late
didn't
on
want
the
me to
draw.
ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban
All right, gentlemen.
Europe.
He was gonna ban China.
You would have been much later.
Wait, Biden
Mr.
killed
President.
300,000
I'm talking about
troops?
2 million people.
You're not going to be able
President,
to
as
shut
a
him up.
moderator, we are going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Let me finish. The point is that the president also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court.
Biden has gotten himself into an
And so
interesting
that's
position
also at
of
stake
assuring
right now.
people that he will
And so
have
the
better
election
health
is
care
all- You
don't know
than
what's on
Donald
the
Trump
ballot.
without
Why
actually
is it on the
promising
ballot?
any better health care.
Because
Why is it
you
on the
said
ballot? It's not
you're-
on the ballot.
It's on the ballot in the
I
court.
don't think so.
In the court. Well,
There's nothing happening there.
Donald, would you
And you
just be
don't
quiet
know
for a
her
minute?
view on Roe v. Wade. You
I
don't
don't
know
know.
her view.
Well, all right. Let's talk.
Wow.
We got a lot to unpack here, gentlemen. We got a lot of time. So, on health care, and then we'll come back to Roe v. Wade.
All right.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court will hear a case a week after the election in which the Trump administration, along with 18 state attorneys general, are seeking to overturn
That's right.
Obamacare, to end Obamacare. You have spent the last...
Because they want to give good health care.
If I may ask my question, sir.
Good health care.
Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan
Yes,
to
I have.
replace Obamacare. Well,
I got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm going to give you an
Excuse me.
opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That is
big
not a
chunk of
comprehensive
Obamacare.
plan.
That is absolutely a big thing. That was the
I
worst
didn't
part of
ask,
Obamacare.
Sir.
Chris,
You're
that was the
debating him,
worst
not
part of
me.
Obamacare.
Let me ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe. The
No,
individual mandate was the most
God, doesn't it suck
unpopular
that we're still
aspect
talking
of
about
Obamacare. I got rid
Oh,
of it.
God.
And
Like,
we
who
will
gives a
protect
shit?
people
President,
with
I'm the
pre-existing
moderator of this
conditions.
debate.
Like, they tried to
and I
replace
would
it, they
like
didn't
you
do
to
it, they
let me
don't
ask
care.
my question, and then you can
According
answer.
to Dave Weigel, your
You,
boyfriend,
in the
Virgil,
course of
your
these
friend,
4 years, have never
Dave
come up with
Weigel,
a
who we
comprehensive
all love,
plan to
replace
there's the one thing people care about is the
and
pre-existing
just
condition.
People care about the
pre.
They do care about that. That's a
signed
thing
a
that people
largely
can care about.
That's part of
executive
Obamacare.
order to protect
That's part of
people
Obamacare.
with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something.
It just sucks that we're
There's
still
nothing
talking
symbolic. I'm cutting drug
We're going to be
prices.
talking
I'm
about it
going
for the
with
rest of our
favored
lives.
nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against big pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it
That's
during
the
your
Hillary. That's what
47-year
we did against
period in
Hillary.
government, but you
Why
didn't
didn't you
do
do it when you were in
Nobody's
charge?
done it.
Why didn't you
So
do
we're
it?
cutting
And it's,
health
once
care.
again,
All
it's true.
of the
But then
things
again,
that we've
now
done
he is in
not
charge
about
too.
health care. I'll give you an example.
Been in charge,
Insulin.
so that's tough for
It was destroying families, destroying people. The cost. I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water. You want to know the truth? So cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs what we're doing. Prescription drug prices. We're going to allow our
Do the
governors
people
now to
who
go to
actually
other
have to
countries
buy
drugs
insulin
because
in this country believe it's as cheap as water right now?
No, but this is big. This
You'll
is
be happy.
big stuff.
cheap as water.
You'll be happy.
Said
I'm
it.
about to pick up
Flows
on
like
point
water,
to
folks.
ask
We
the
love
Vice
it.
President, which is he points out that you would like to add a public option to Obamacare, and
Yes.
the argument that he makes and other Republicans make is that that is going to end private insurance.
It is
and
not.
well, I ask you the question.
Private insurance
It
is
will
great. I
end-
want to hug and kiss private insurance.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover of health care.
It does not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare would, Medicaid would automatically be
this is
enrolled
what people
in
love
the
to hear
public
about.
option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agreed
two.
with Bernie
Number-
Sanders.
Wait. That's the deal?
On the manifesto, we call it.
That's it. You're just going to rename
Socialized
Medicaid to the public
medicine.
option.
Hey,
Are you
I'm
saying
not
you
going
didn't
to
agree?
listen to him. The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here
much.
standing facing you already.
Pocahontas would have.
They're doing it. The old men are
All
trying.
he knows how to do is
Look,
look, here's the deal. I got
This
very
election-
lucky
Old men are
tonight
John
as well.
I like that this
And
election is
tonight
still
I'm gonna
about
make
Bernie
sure,
Sanders.
Because here's the deal. Here's the deal.
I like that he's still running
The
away
fact
from
is
Bernie
that everything
Sanders.
he's saying
Yeah.
so far is simply a lie.
Terrified.
I'm not here to call out his lies.
Oh,
Everybody
I have
knows
to
he's a
insist.
liar.
You will pay
I
a lot
just
of money
wanna
for
know-
health care.
Joe,
I must stress this.
I
You will
wanna make
always
sure
pay an
that-
eternal amount of health care.
I didn't think that
I
we'd
wanna
get up
make
to this
sure
high
I'm
levels of
thinking about
malarkey
it.
so quickly,
He
but
doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be surprised.
you pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy, the wrong
Go.
night at the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's
Bernie
Just
Sanders
fight.
to
Just
the
fucking
manifesto.
fight.
Let
Now
him-
you're disavowing
And
it.
let's see
There is
him
no
throw
manifesto,
fists.
number
Please let
one.
him speak, Mr.
Number
You
two.
just lost the left.
Number two.
You just lost the left.
Trump's getting the better
Bernie
of him.
Sanders
Yeah,
on
He's
the
throwing him
stand.
off. He's throwing him off balance.
Absolutely
Folks,
agreed
do you
to.
have
That's because he's just
idea
ignoring
what
all the rules.
Socialized,
Tommy.
call it
Mr.
You
Medicare.
have any do?
Socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well, I
President.
tell you what, he is not for any help for people needing health care. Because he, in fact, already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession.
I forgot how bad Biden was
there
at these.
20 million people getting health care through
Oh,
Obamacare
like, yeah, but I
now,
mean,
if
he's
he wants
bad.
to take it away.
They're just
He won't
how
look
like
now and
Trump
say that's
is
what he
bad
wants to
too.
do. Take it away.
No, I want to give
Number
them better
three.
health care at a much lower price.
But-
Because
No, I don't agree with
Obamacare
that. I don't think
doesn't
Trump is a
know
bad
how to
debater.
do
Okay,
that.
fine.
Fixed it.
He has
Then I
never
don't- then I don't know
offered
what.
a plan.
I don't know. I don't know how to judge
He
any of
has
these
a
people.
As you
single
might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
Gentlemen, you realize if you're both speaking at the
It's
same
no good,
time,
and it's too expensive.
let the president go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is no good. We made it better, and I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guarantee pre-existing
Well,
conditions,
hello.
but took away the
Good
individual
evening.
mandate.
Is that Amber?
Listen, this is the way
Should
it is.
be.
And that
Welcome to the
destroyed-
chat, Amber. Are you watching
that-
this?
They shouldn't even call it Obamacare.
Yeah, I
Then
just
had a
got it
choice
turned
to
on.
make. Do I let
Hell
my
yeah.
people run it really
I
They're-
haven't got lighting.
They're
badly.
real
If I run
ornery.
it badly,
One
they'll
second.
probably
Let me
blame him, but they'll
redo
blame
They're
me
this.
for
ornery
not
old
putting
men.
anyone help people. Okay. I said.
Oh
you
yeah,
know
the
so
grandpa's
well.
got both got
And I
into the
just had a
horseradish for
meeting
sure.
with them. They said the problem
Great.
is no matter how well you run
This is all I was
Obamacare,
hoping for,
it's a
honestly.
disaster. It's too expensive.
filter.
Premiums
I
are
got
too
it.
high, and
That's
it
what his
doesn't work.
people- that's
So
what his
we
people said.
we do want to
No,
get
no.
rid of it.
It's
Chris,
an
we
open
want to get rid of it.
I
and
understand
give
it.
something
Matt,
I
cheaper
have to
and
give you
better.
roughly equal time.
Good.
Please let the vice president.
Cal and I developed a theory that
has
Joe
no
Biden
plan
could
for
just
healthcare.
start
Sends-
reciting
he
cake
sends
lyrics
out
and it would be indiscernible from his sundowning.
Power. He hasn't lowered
Just randomly.
for anybody. He's been promising
Is it
healthcare
you
for
or your parents
since
in
he
this
got elected.
income tax
He
bracket?
has none, like almost everything else he talks about.
I think the one that works
does not have a
best
plan.
was
He doesn't have a plan. And the
you
fact
got your
is, this
credit
man doesn't know
cards.
what he's talking
You
about.
got your Lucky
I
Stars.
have one
Don't
final question
forget
for
the
you,
one that foots the
Mr.
bill.
Vice President.
You got your grand
Senate
piano.
Republicans, we were talking.
But look
originally
here,
about
Mac,
the
you don't
Supreme
even
Court
play
here.
piano.
If
I'm the
Senate
one who plays
Republicans
piano.
go ahead and confirm
It all works.
Justice Barrett. There has
Wait,
been
what were we
talk
talking about the Supreme
about
Court?
the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president.
So to follow up on a
In fact, it wasn't brought
conversation
up by
we
the
had in the
president.
last episode
It
of
was brought up by
Chapo,
some of your
the
Democratic
answer to the
colleagues
question,
in the Congress.
who
So my
is
question
anyone
to you
watching
is,
this
you
to make up
have
their
refused in
minds?
the past
The
to
answer is
talk about
yes.
it. Are you
Approximately
willing to
6%
tell
of
the
viewers,
American
according to
people
one
tonight
survey.
whether or not you
Yeah.
will support either
Well,
ending the
one,
filibuster
I don't trust surveys.
or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll
2,
become the issue. The issue is the American
6% of viewers is 6% of people watching
You're in
this.
voting now.
And I would like
Vote
to
and
know
let your
how many
senators
people
know
are
how
watching
strongly you
this.
feel. Vote now.
Like 80
Make
million?
sure you, in fact, let people know.
Really?
Senators.
Probably
I'm not
fewer.
gonna
I
answer
would
the
I would
question
estimate.
because
Well,
the question
I don't know.
is-
A lot of
the
people
question
want to see
is-
this.
Will you
What is he
shut
saying?
up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
right.
Gentlemen, I think
This
we
is
have
told him
ended
to
this
shut up.
He's gonna pack the court.
We have
We're
ended.
not going to give a
He
vote.
literally just gibbered.
Segment.
This
We're
is
gonna move on to the
insane.
second segment.
This is honestly better
For
than
that
I thought it would be.
6%, I'm just wondering what useful information they've gotten so
yapping, man.
far.
The people understand, Joe.
Did we just get our first
No,
come on, man?
They're nothing. They understand.
Yeah, he told him to shut up, man.
Second subject
Shut up,
is-
man.
I'm gonna
That's what we're here to see. That's what we're here to see.
I'm gonna say that
Let's try to be
that
serious
swats the
about it. We have
Malarkey
had
down a
more
little
than
bit.
7 million cases.
Biden's
Why
gonna
is
threaten to
coronavirus
Biden's gonna
in the
threaten to hit
United
him.
States, and more than
Well, he did,
200,000
remember,
people
during the
have
campaign.
died.
So
Even
it's
after
not
we
at all
produce
even
a vaccine. Experts say
unlikely.
that it could be months.
What's the over-under on-
years before we
What's the
come
over-under
back
on
to
Trump
anything
attacking Biden's dead kid?
approaching
High.
normal.
Like
It's high right now. I'd say
For both of
50-50
you
at this
is
point.
Based on what you have said,
Hunter will
and
definitely
done
come up.
so far, and
Oh,
what you
100%.
said
That's
you would
easy
do
pickings,
starting in
you know?
2021.
Is Biden gonna do like a
Why should
don't
the
talk about
American
my
people
kid,
trust you
man?
more than your opponent
I mean,
to deal with this
that
public
actually
health crisis going
might
forward. In this
endear
case,
people to Biden because
the
I feel like
question
a
goes
lot
to you
of
first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
a lot of Trump supporters have a hunter.
200,000
You know?
dead.
Yeah, a lot
Over
of people have
7
shitty
million
kids, and they're like,
infected
"Hey,
in the
don't
United
talk
States.
about my shitty kid."
We, in fact,
Yeah, only I
have
can talk about my shitty.
Only I can
5%
talk about
4% of the world's population,
fair.
20% of the deaths.
Unless you're running for president.
40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that,
God, Hunter must be having a
between
great night.
750 and
He's not
1,000
here,
people
is
a day are dying. When
He's
was
smoking
presented with
crack,
that number, he
100%.
said,
Well, they
"It
did not
is
let him in. They
what
didn't
it
want
is.
people to cut to him in
It
the
is what it
audience.
is because you are who you are.
Hunter's getting
That's
dusted
why
in the
it is.
parking lot.
The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a
Nobody
deadly
cares
disease.
about
What did he do?
plans.
He's on tape as
I don't know.
acknowledging he knew it.
Also,
he said he didn't
he
tell
does
us to
have
give people
plans,
a warning of it
and he
because
doesn't
he didn't
do
want
them,
to panic.
but he says he's going to do them.
You
So
don't
that's,
panic.
like the
He
wall and
panicked.
shit.
And he went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves
That's a good
how
line, though.
dangerous this
He
was.
panicked. Nobody
He did
likes
not
pussy.
even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. I laid out
Sir,
back
it's
in
his 2
March
minutes.
exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July
cutting
what we
Trump's
should be
mic?
doing. We should be providing.
He
He
all
might
the
have to. I mean, he
protective
was
gear possible. We should
bulldozing.
be
He would
providing
not
the money
let
the
Joe
House
Biden
passed
talk. I mean,
in
he
order
was
to be
making it
able to go
impossible
out
to have an
and
actual
get
debate.
people the help they
That was
need to
pretty
get their
amazing.
businesses
Yeah,
open.
he finally, he's the
Open
first
schools that
candidate to
cost a lot of
freaking
money.
pick this lock
You
and
should get
realize,
out of
oh,
your
the moderates have
bunker
no
and get
power.
out of the sand trap
Yeah,
and get
yeah.
in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save
Yeah,
lives.
it is kind of
if we
funny to
would have
like,
listened
look,
to
we all
you-
know
You have
this
2
is
minutes,
fake,
sir.
but we have to at least
If we would have
pretend.
listened to you,
Can't just
the
talk
country
while
would have
he's
been
talking.
left left wide open, millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should have closed our country. Wait a minute.
It says 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months.
Why would anyone vote for anyone
in fact,
after
Dr.
watching
Fauci
that?
said,
Right.
President Trump.
Why would
sent
anyone
thousands
ever
of lives.
participate in an election
Democrat
after
governor
watching
said
dispirited.
President Trump did a phenomenal
what a
job.
fucking
He worked with
joke.
the
I
governor.
still
Oh,
think this
really?
is
Go take a
mostly
look.
playing in the
The
background,
governor
like,
said I did
rolling
a
out his
phenomenal job.
airports.
Most of
Like,
them
they're
said
really-
that.
Yeah, of
In
course,
fact,
sure.
people that would not be
viewership.
necessarily on my
Viewership.
side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the
Ventilators.
gowns. We
They
got
would
the
not have made
masks. We
ventilators if
made the
Trump hadn't told
ventilators.
them
You
to.
wouldn't have
They
made
would have used
ventilators. And now we're
pillows
weeks away
from
from a
fucking,
vaccine. We're
fireplaces
doing
to get into
therapeutics
people's
already.
lungs.
Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't done a good job, and that's because of the fake news. No matter what you say to them, they give you bad press on it.
I
It's
gotta
just
say
fake
though,
news.
how
They
everyone
give you
freaked
good
out about
press.
him
They give me
saying, like,
bad press
you know,
because
that
that's the
there
way it
would
is,
be a
unfortunately.
transfer of
But let me
power.
just tell you something. I don't care.
I
I've gotten
heard
used to
that,
it.
and
But
I
I'll
was
tell you,
just
Joe,
like,
you could
this
never
is
have done the
not
job
even
that we
slightly
did.
different
You don't have it in your
from what
blood.
he's
You
been
could have never
saying the
done
whole
that job.
time.
I
And
know how to
also,
do the job. I
to
know
me,
how
it
to
just
get the
sounded
job.
like
Well,
you
you didn't
said,
do very
like,
well
look,
in
if this was
swine
done
flu.
fairly, I would
H1N1.
be
You were a
elected, which is
disaster.
like
Your own chief
what kind of everyone says, but less
14,000 people
stupidly.
died, not 200,000.
And
no
very
economic
you know,
recession.
hurting
You made a
the
point.
people
There was
preparing
no
for
recession.
You made a
if he
point. Let him
loses, he
answer.
can say, oh, well,
we
it's
didn't
because
shut
it was
down the
rigged. We all
economy.
know it was rigged. Now I get to
This
go
is
back to
his
my TV
economy
show.
that's being
What
he's
did
shut
bother
down.
me, though, is
The reason
that
it's shut down is because
he performed
look,
very
folks at home, how
well
many of you
with
get up
the
this
corona
morning
stuff.
and had
People
an
only
empty
watched that
chair
like
at the
30
kitchen
second
table
clip,
because someone died of COVID?
but like
How many of
it
you
was
were in a
all
situation
like
where you lost
economic
your mom or dad
optimism,
and you couldn't
health
even speak to them? You had a
optimism.
nurse holding
Like
the phone
I was listening
so
to
you
it, I
could,
was
in
like,
fact,
oh
save
yeah,
the
we
life.
licked corona, we licked Jesus.
Far
That is-
more people.
And
you would have been
although
by
at
the
one
way,
point he did
your
go,
own, his
more
own,
people
his
getting
own
flu
CDs
shots, that's good.
says
Hopefully
we
they
could
can,
lose as many as another
they could keep from
200,000 people
mixing
between
that
now
up.
and
Can
the
they
end
do
of the
that?
year. And he
Can
held
they
up,
do
he said,
that?
if
And
we
he
just
asked this
wear
guy,
a
he's like,
mask,
we
we can
hope that
save
they can.
half those
And I
numbers.
think what he was
just
asking
a
was,
mask.
can
And
they
by the way, in
distinguish
terms of
the novel
whole notion of a
coronavirus
vaccine,
from other
we're for a
viruses?
vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't.
Which seems like a
What we
thing
trust
that you
is a
should know.
scientist.
You don't
We
trust
trust Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
Johnson, Pfizer.
And
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen, let me move on to questions
Yeah, I just
about
want
the
to take a
future,
moment
because you
here
both
and
have
wish
touched
a,
on one of the two of the
very
questions I'm
happy
going to
birthday
ask.
to our friend and collaborator,
Focusing on the future, first,
Kevin
President
Durant,
Trump, you
turns
have
31
repeatedly either
Happy birthday,
contradicted
Kevin
or been
Durant.
at odds with
Happy
some
birthday,
of your
Kevin.
government's
It's the
own
forward
top
of
scientists. The
our
week
group.
before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words.
Yeah.
But Dr. Slaoui, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing.
You're the president!
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot
Well,
sooner.
say you're the
It's a
fucking
political
president!
thing, because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. Become very political.
Why is it
because
a political?
The left, or I don't know if I call
So
them
you're
left, I don't know
suggesting
what I
that
call
the
them.
head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr.
I
Slaoui,
Just
disagree
making
with
up
him.
something
No,
to
I
make
disagree
idiots
with
think
both
that
of
there's going to
them.
be a
He didn't say
vaccine
that.
tomorrow.
He said it
It's
could be there,
just
but it could
scam
also
power.
be much
Yeah,
sooner.
yeah.
I had
Well,
him in
I
my
mean,
office 2 days ago.
He talked about the
just,
summer, sir, before it's
vaccinate
generally available.
everybody for
Just
But
like
she
Dr.
said it's a
Redfield.
possibility that we'll
fluoridate,
have the answer
sandwiches.
before
But,
November 1st. It could also
I'm
be
talking about when
after
it's
that.
generally available.
It's-
not
well,
when
we're
it
going to
would be.
deliver it right away.
I
We have the
don't think you
military
can
all
fault
set up
people for
logistically. They're all
being,
set up.
nervous
We have our
about a
military that
rush
delivers
vaccine from an
soldiers, and they can do
American
200,000 a
pharmaceutical
day.
Oh, yeah.
They're going
God.
to be
This is
delivering
the
the
same man.
I'm not
It's
taking it.
not
I am not
gonna
taking any
By
vaccine
Easter,
that
this
is
will be
not
going
taken
away.
by other
By
country.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Gone,
exactly.
miraculous,
I'm
like a
gonna wait
miracle.
till.
And by the
I'm
way,
gonna wait
maybe
to
you
see
could
what the
inject some
Germans are
bleach in your
taking.
arm, and that would
Give
take care of
me,
it.
give me the white man's
That was
medicine.
said sarcastically,
That would
and you
seem-
know that.
I-
That was said sarcastically.
Honestly, I
here's the
want the
deal.
China one.
This man
I think
is
they're gonna
talking
have the
about
gold
a
standard
vaccine.
on this one.
Every
They
serious,
probably will,
every
but
serious
they.
company is
I don't know.
talking
They have
about
slower safety
maybe having a
standards.
vaccine
I
done
mean, it's
by the end of the
essentially
year.
should be
But
the same
distribution
standards
of that
everywhere.
vaccine
It's like the same
will not
basic
occur until
scientific
sometime
process.
beginning
It
of the middle of
should.
next
Yes,
year.
you are
Just
correct.
if we get the vaccine.
Well, I mean,
much
pray
should.
God we
Yeah,
will.
but you know how they have
Pray
all that
God we
weird
will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to
over
pick up
there.
the.
You'll have
on
the
that-
vaccine
I
sooner
want to
than
pick
that.
up
Tiger.
the
Trust
question. So
President
you say the
Steve.
public can trust
I
the
trust
scientists,
President
but they
Xi
can't
more
trust
than Trump
President
to a
Trump.
vaccine.
He said that again
That's what it
tonight.
boils down
Your
to.
running mate,
Tiger
Senator Harris,
blood
goes
and,
further,
yeah.
saying the
rhinoceros
public health
horns.
experts,
Invented
quote,
by Mao, by
will
the
be
way, because it
muzzled,
couldn't
will be
industrialize
suppressed.
fast enough.
Given
have
the
different
fact
kinds
that
of
polls
parks over
already
there.
show
It's a big country.
that people are
I
concerned
feel like they're
about the
playing
vaccine and
with
are
different
reluctant
stuff
to
than we
take
are.
it.
They
Are
have those
you and your
giant
running mate, Senator
salamanders
Harris, contributing
that
to
make
that
us sound
fear?
like a
No more
crying
than the
baby.
question you just
Like,
asked.
what's our
him.
vaccine
He
going to be?
pointed out.
Fentanyl?
He
It's just going to be
he
fentanyl.
disagrees
Yeah.
with his own scientists.
I mean, have we tried it yet?
Everybody knows.
Senator
It's
Harris
just
is
a
saying you
different-
can't
You
trust the
don't
science.
know.
This is just a
No,
different
you can't trust the
amphetamine that we're going to
scientists.
prescribe to
She
you
didn't say that. You can't
She,
trust
she
the
said the public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled, will be
Yes.
suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. But there's
They at a
millions of
hospital?
scientists- There's thousands of scientists.
They at a
out there,
hospital?
like here at this great
I
hospital.
would not be surprised
that
if this was
don't
being broadcast
work
from
for
a
him.
dementia
Their
ward.
job doesn't depend on him. That's not. They're the people. And by
I
the way,
spoke to the
and Fauci,
scientists that are in
Look, Jack,
charge.
that's the one
They
that
will
plays
have the
piano.
vaccine very soon.
Let him finish.
do you believe for a moment?
What's up? What
what
hospital
he's
are they
telling
talking
you,
about?
In light of all the lies he's told you about the whole issue.
That's a
relating
weird
to
tie
COVID,
Biden's
he
wearing.
still hasn't even
kinda like
acknowledged
it.
that he knew this was happening,
you
knew
do. It
how
looks like a
dangerous it
Riddler
was going
tie.
to be back in
doesn't.
February.
I
and
feel like
he
there's gonna be some
didn't
malarkey
even
coming
tell
up
you.
after this.
He's on record as saying it. He panicked,
looks nice
or
with
he
the
just
little-
looked at the
the little
stock
piece in his
market.
pocket,
One of the
little
two.
handkerchief.
Because guess what? A lot of
He-
people
he
die.
did
And
the
a lot more are going to die
controversial
unless he gets a lot
three-peat
smarter, a lot
fold
quicker.
Mr. President.
Did you use the word smart?
Not one, not two,
So
but
you
three.
said you went to Delaware State.
It's
but
a
you
bold
forgot
choice,
the
but
name
it's
of your
paid off.
college.
I agree.
You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated
Oh,
either
this is
the
some
lowest
fucking
or almost the
malarkey.
lowest in your class.
This is
Don't
some
ever use the
fucking
word smart with
malarkey.
me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's
I
nothing
mean,
smart
Biden's
about
going
you.
to have
47
to
years
punch
you've
him.
done
Biden's
nothing.
going to have to
This
punch
is
him.
some-
or he's
this
going
is
to look like a
some-
bitch.
No,
If
He
you
doesn't
had
punch him.
Take
He's
off
a
his
bitch.
the charge.
I-
of
you
what
have
he
to
was
punch
put
him.
through. I had a
This is
close
some
friend
S-tier malarkey.
in the history of our
He
country.
is a bitch.
And by the way, now it's being
He is a
done
genetic
again.
bitch if he
Going
doesn't
into the
punch him
economy in the
now.
next segment, sir.
Okay.
Take off your blazer. Take it off
Okay.
right now.
Take it off.
Right now.
Roll up your
When it comes
sleeves.
to how the virus has been handled so
genetic
far,
bitch.
the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the virus
Oh, boy,
is
that was-
handled
that-
going
that
forward
was some
by
malarkey.
whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly
Where
go
are we at
through
different
several of
stages
those.
of this? I don't
Reopenings.
understand.
Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
Because
Biden's
he doesn't
big
have a
flaw,
plan.
this is
If
his
I were
flaw in
running,
every
I know
single
how,
debate, is that
what the
he's not
plan is.
interactive.
You've got to provide these.
He doesn't even try
businesses
to
the
be
ability
interactive.
to
He
have
tried to
the
pretend
money
to
to
be.
be
He's
able
never
to
had to
reopen with the
campaign.
PPE as
No,
well
never
as
has.
with the
It shows.
sanitation they need.
He's
You
just
have to
like,
provide
just-
them.
Nancy
just give this to
Pelosi.
me.
Okay?
And he's been
Well,
in,
just shush for a minute.
I don't know what,
Tell it to
50
Nancy
debates.
Pelosi.
And
Schumer,
by the
Ryan
way,
Schumer.
Nancy Pelosi and
president.
Schumer, they have a plan.
And he's been bad in
He
all.
won't even meet with them.
Yeah.
The Republicans
Well, he's just
won't
like,
meet with the
it's
Senate.
me.
But he,
You know,
he sits in his
Why are we
golf
doing
course. And, I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably
All right,
play
think
more than
about
I
it.
do, Joe.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact?
Well, he wants to shut down this country. And
Yeah,
I want to
also,
keep it
like,
open.
the
And we
laughing
did
at
a
all
great
these
thing by
things
shutting
like
it
that.
down.
it down.
Wait a minute, Joe.
Let him
Let me
finish,
shut
sir.
you down for a second, Joe. Just for
Chill
one
and
second.
masculine and more kind
We
of
want
smug and
to.
haughty.
He wants to shut down the country.
A little bit,
we just
yeah.
went through it. We had to because we didn't know
It's
anything
looking a
about the
little-
disease.
just
Now we
it's
found
looking a little,
that
just give it to
elderly
me.
people
It's
with
just a little like a
heart
guy who's never
problems
had to
and
campaign.
diabetes
Is it
and
just
different
me or is this
problems
whole
are
display
very, very
offensive to
vulnerable.
old
We
people?
learned a lot. Young
Like, if
children
I were a
aren't.
person, I would be pissed off. that
Even
this is a
younger
media
people aren't. We've
representation.
learned a lot.
Yeah.
But he wants to shut it
They're,
down.
great,
More
great,
people
great, great
will be
Uncle
hurt
Toms.
by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all.
Very good.
One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election on November
I want to
3rd.
move on to another
Because
All right,
it's a
I wanna
political.
I got to
move on to
refill.
another subject.
But those-
Hopefully the
those
three of you can hold it
states-
down for like
those
2 minutes
states
about.
not doing well that are shut down.
Yeah, you come back and the screen is on fire. There's a bunch of gifts and flames.
Increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer.
Yeah, it's just
and in
swastikas
fact,
and
recently you have
trees.
cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are
of
okay.
masks?
You have to
Now that
understand,
Chris
if
is
you look,
gone,
I
what do you
mean, I
say
have
we
a
have a
mask right
fun?
here. I put the mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to. But I wear masks when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say this.
Vice President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open.
The biggest mask I've ever seen.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
A wonderful
Masks make a big difference.
The biggest mask I've ever
CDC
seen.
said if we just wore masks between now, if everybody wore masks and social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
It's like trying to watch a subtitled movie when you're drunk. You miss
No
one
serious person said
frame.
No
Well, look
serious.
at Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci said that. He did
I
not
want
say
to ask you, we got
said
a
very
little bit more than a
strongly,
minute left in this
masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his mind. He said masks good. I'm okay with masks.
I
I'm
want to
not
ask you
fighting
both
masks.
about one last subject because
Stupidest thing that's
your
ever
different
happened.
approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people.
The way what they're saying to each other.
Vice President
What
Biden,
about
you are
masks? I
holding
don't
much
know what
smaller
they're talking about.
events
Well,
with
Nobody will show up.
people with
Nobody shows up to his rally.
In any case, why you holding the big rallies? Why
You know what? I'm
not?
sick of all this
You go
mask
first.
crap. Everyone having to wear a mask. I'm going to make one big mask, and we're all going to wear it at the
I
same
mean,
time.
But are you
I've
not
done a
worried
great
about it
job
spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 30,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you
for
not worried
hangars,
about
and we
the
have a
disease
lot of
issues,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally
What's
in
up?
24
Where
hours
are the
notice.
Malarkey levels right
And Joe
now?
does the circles
Honestly,
and has
they're
3 people
kind of in the
someplace.
weeds
Okay.
By the way,
about
did you see
It's
one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter
It's
came
become
up to him
sort
to
of,
ask him a question. He said, no, stand back.
an
Put on
argument
your
about
mask.
whether or
Put on your
not
mask. Have you been
basketball
tested?
was better.
I'm way
before,
far away from those
behind
other
the back
people.
passing was
That's what
allowed.
he said. I can't. I'm going to be okay.
Before they
He's not
invented the
worried
dribble.
about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no negative
Cheek
Used to
effect.
be
No negative
every
effect. We've had no
player
negative
had
effect.
to
And we've had
touch the ball
35,000, 40,000
could
people.
wanna
take a
at
shot.
each
That was
Just
Yes.
quickly
good
finish up
fundamentals
because I want to
game.
move on to our next.
Yes, I
Now
would.
it's fancy
He's been
dunk
totally
it.
irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encourage them not to.
He's correct about that. He's correct
If
about
you
that.
could get
No
the
one
crowds,
cares.
you would have done the
No
same
one cares
thing.
about
But you
Joe
can't.
Biden.
Nobody
Honor.
cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the
Nobody cares.
gentlemen?
I think
Can we
Trump
move on to
did.
the economy? The
You
economy,
baby,
I
any way
think
you
it's fair to say,
want it. That's
recovering
the way
faster
you
than
need it.
expected
Any
from the
way you
shutdown.
want it.
Trump
Just
is correcting
in the
obvious
second
rebuttal
quarter, the
to
unemployment
Democrats'
rate fell to
assertions that, all the blames are-
8.4%
all the
last
deaths are
month.
his fault,
The Federal
which
Reserve
is,
says
if Biden
the
were president, we'd
hit
have twice the
to
Democrats.
growth, which is going to be
You don't
there,
know.
is not
Yeah,
going to be
it's
nearly as
fucking
big as they
hypothetical.
had
And
expected.
also,
President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped
I actually
recovery.
think people are smart enough
Vice
to
President
know that,
Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What
you know,
difference does that mean
It's a disease
to
that
the American
that
people in
kills
terms of the economy? President
a
Trump, in
certain
this
type of
segment, you go
person,
first.
usually old, sick
So we
people,
built the
and
greatest economy in
people are
history.
gonna die.
We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it
When
down.
did
It
that-
was
If
very
you're
hard
gonna- if you're gonna
psychologically
use
to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was
really
wrong.
have
And
to,
again,
like,
2 million people would be dead
give
now
a good
instead of
example of
still
someone who managed it well,
204,000
one,
people.
which
It's
you
too
can't
much.
do
One
because
person is too
America,
much.
it would make
Should have
America
never happened
generally
from
look
China.
bad because we
But what
never had the
happened is
infrastructure to
we
do any of
closed
that
it down,
anyway.
and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business.
Yeah, but you just say it.
We
Let's
have
give them
10.4
specifically.
million
That's what
people
they all
in a
have.
4-month
They all
period
are
that we've
taking
put back
the
into
failures
the
of the
workforce.
system
That's
and
a
putting them
record
on
the
the
likes of which
shoulders
nobody's
of a
ever seen
president.
before. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy
Yeah, I
this
mean,
country.
they're
You know, a
on
lot
the
of
back
people,
foot. They
between
really
drugs
can't.
and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening in some of your Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you,
whoever
it's
said in the chat
because
Biden should
they
have
don't want to
mentioned Herman
open it.
Cain.
One
Yes,
of them came out
100%
last
true.
week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open
See,
up
Herman
the
Cain, you're
November
killing
9th.
your own
November 9th,
candidates.
because it's after the election. They think they're hurting us by keeping them
Yeah,
closed.
yeah,
They're
go
hurting
low.
people. People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, when you look, and these governors are under siege. Pennsylvania.
He's talking about shit from like 4 months ago. What is he talking about with that quote?
It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison.
Yeah,
And
we're
you
way,
look at what's
way
going on
past
with
that.
divorce. Look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very,
Gotta
very
say,
sad
give
thing.
Trump credit
And
there
he'll
for
close down
admitting
the
that,
whole
like,
country.
if we
This
don't
guy
get
will
to go
close
to
down the
Fud
whole
Rutgers
country
and we don't
and
get to go to
destroy our
David
country.
Buster's, we will all
Our
kill
country is
ourselves.
coming back
Correct, we
incredibly
will.
well, setting records as it does.
It's
We
all
don't need
we
somebody to
have.
come in and say,
It's
let's shut it
all
down.
we
Mass suicide, now Mark on suicide.
do not get to go and get a chip and crisp and
The
dipper.
president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped.
What is a K? What does K-shape mean?
What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis.
Wait, what's a K-shape?
How does that even?
Have made another $300 billion.
Is this a thing that other people know about but I don't?
That's not a real thing. There's no such thing as a K-shape.
And he only focused on.
They're
the
confusing
market.
their letters.
But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns and working class towns.
Also, a K is a really strange shape.
Nobody fucking knows what this means, dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back?
You realize neither of
that
them prepared.
He is, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first.
I don't think Trump's
person
prepared
in
for
the
any
States
debate.
to leave
K-shape.
office.
So the
There'll be
professionals,
fewer
rich
jobs
people, they
in his
get better.
administration than
Everyone
in
else goes
Ken's
down. I mean, that's just how the economy fucking works.
That's just the economy.
That's just the economy.
People who have lost
There's an escalator there.
are those people
very
who
nice.
have been on the front lines. Those people who
Okay,
have
yeah,
been
nobody knows
saving
what
our
that means.
lives. Those people who have been out there dying. People who've been
Yes,
putting
chat,
themselves
thank you.
in a
The K
way
is
to
for
make sure
capitalism.
That we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America.
None of them have the ability to control this anyway. These are all done at the state level.
Why doesn't he take care of the American?
What does it have to do with the president?
Economy until you fix the COVID crisis.
And it's not like
And he
Biden
has
is
no
proposing a
intention of doing
nationwide,
anything
like,
about making it better for you all at home.
specific policy
in
for
terms of
everybody.
your health
It's
and your
state by
safety.
state.
Schools. Why aren't schools open?
Yeah, it's funny
Because
how
it
the
costs
Biden's
a lot
really
of
only
money to
challenge.
open
The only thing that he
safely.
really needs to achieve in these debates is to seem like a plausible president who would not be as grotesquely
Then they decided,
incompetent
no,
as Trump.
couldn't do that because it's not a national
And he's really on a
emergency.
knife's edge,
Not a
I think,
national
right now.
emergency. They've done nothing to help
He's
small
getting
businesses.
steamrolled.
Nothing. They're closing.
Getting absolutely
1 in
steamrolled
6
by
is now
Trump.
gone.
I mean, not in a
You
way
don't
that
get
like
on
a
the
normal
job
politician
and
could
take
ever
care of the
do,
needs
because you're
of
not
American
supposed to be
people
able to
so
just
we
talk
can't open
forever.
safely.
All right, your time is up, sir.
Honestly, literally
you both have
anyone.
2 minutes, sir.
Just I want to see
he made a
literally
statement.
anyone.
So
right
did
now.
you.
I want to see
want
John
their
Hickenlooper
schools-
right
no,
now.
people want their schools open. They don't want to be
those are the
shut down.
days.
They don't want their state shut
remember
down. They
when-
want their restaurants. I
remember
look
when we
at
were
New York.
having
It's
fun?
so sad what's
Bro, we were
happening
having
in
so
New
much
York.
fun.
It's almost like a ghost town.
Let's give me a
And I'm
Jay
not sure it
Inslee
can
right
ever
now.
recover what they've done in New York.
Give me a
People
Tim
want their
Ryan.
places open. They want to get back to their lives.
People-
They
Did
like
fucking
to
Eric
say,
Swalwell
but
run
they
for
want their
president, or did I make
schools
that
open.
up?
I'm the one that brought back football. By the way, I
He
brought
did?
back
Yeah,
Big
give me an
Ten
Eric
football.
Swalwell right
It was
now.
me and
Wonder
I'm
if
very
if
happy to do
they
it.
had come to a
right,
historic
Ohio,
agreement to
I'm
have the
very
2
proud of
Colorado
it, and
guys do a
we're gonna
tag
get
team
back to
Gentlemen,
nominee.
we're going to get to your economic plans going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016,
Come on,
the year you
hit
were
him in
elected
the
president, in
face.
2017, your first year
Amber,
as
your
president,
golden hour
you
lighting
paid
is quite nice right now.
$750 a
I'm
year
not a
in
thingy.
federal
Oh,
income
nice.
tax.
Yeah, because
each
I only
of
had
those
overhead
years.
lighting and I looked sort of like a.
I
Oh,
know
you've
that
got the
you
ring.
pay
I see it in the background.
A lot
Nice.
of
Yeah,
other
got
taxes.
the
And
ring.
I'm asking you.
I
to
got
tell
a,
us,
uh,
Good. Those are
is it
good.
true that you paid
No one told me that's
$750
the difference
in
between
federal
looking like a
income
monster and
taxes
looking like a
each of
Yes.
those 2
baby
years?
I paid
angel.
millions of
on
dollars
Yes.
in taxes.
I mean, I
millions
look
of
great now, but I'm not
dollars
wearing
of
any
income
makeup.
tax.
But it's
And let me just tell you,
But overhead
there
lighting,
was a
you
story
look
in
like
one of the
you're
papers.
a,
I paid $38
Meanwhile-
million one year.
Meanwhile,
I
I got
got
a scary
$27
skull.
million
Show us your
one
tax
year.
return.
I like the scary skull also. I like this
You'll
this
see it as
red
soon as it's
vibe.
finished.
Thank
You'll
you.
see it. You know, if you want to do,
Chris.
go
I got
to
a
the
ring like
Board of
277
Elections.
up, yeah.
There's a 118-page or so
I don't see
report
Chris.
that says
I
everything
only
I
see
have,
Matt.
every bank
He's in the
I
lower
have,
right.
I'm totally
Oh, I'm on the
underleveraged
Twitch
because
itself.
the
I'm not in
assets
the
are
Discord
so
chat.
low. And we have a very, I built a
Sir,
great
I'm asking you a
company.
specific question, which
But
is.
let me tell you.
I understand all of that.
Release your
I
tax
understand
return.
all of that.
But let
No, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
I'm asking you a question. Will you tell us how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars.
That's-
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750.
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see it.
Is that malarkey,
But let me
folks?
just-
Do
No. Don't
Chris,
ask
let me
will
just
you
say
tell us. Just say
something.
how much did you pay?
It was the tax laws.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay tax.
I
Before
think that goes
came
up
here,
to malarkey.
I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're
That at
stupid,
least goes up to
they
3
go through
malarkeys.
the
Somebody better
laws,
fucking
and that's what
hit
it is.
somebody or
He
start
passed a
making
tax
out.
bill
This is
that gave us all these these privileges for
Oh yeah, absolutely.
depreciation
That's a good idea.
and
One second.
for tax credits.
Making out?
We build the building and we get tax credits.
He's doing
like
a trick where it's
on
like, yeah, I
Pennsylvania
paid
Avenue,
millions,
you get
but
a
I got
massive,
billions
which,
back.
by the
So
way,
the net
was
was, I
given
think,
to me by the Obama administration, if you
Obama.
can believe that. Now, the man got fired right after that happened. But
Vice President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher on the money a school teacher makes, is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the
I wonder
tax
who
code.
helped
That's
write
why
that.
I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts.
Wow.
But whoever was in
eliminate those
charge
tax
for the
cuts
past
and
30
make
years
sure
really
that
dropped
we
the
invest
ball.
in the people who, in fact, need the help.
Did you guys ever
People
watch
out
that
there need
documentary?
help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president.
Because
you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator.
You're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of
We're
your
talking,
vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward, because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be elected president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the economy as it's just coming out of a recession.
Well, just take a look at what the analysis done by Wall Street Journal points out that my economic
because of that plan,
7
while they were
million
living
more
in Trump
jobs in
Tower,
his in
but
4
because
years,
of that
number one.
specific
And number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about
and so
buying America.
The weird thing is
that
that
we have to. We're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on
she did not know
everything
that she was
from
telling on
ships
herself.
to steel to
Like,
buildings
at all.
and the like. And
Like,
under
she
my
was like,
proposal,
yeah, like,
we're going to make
we
sure that
declared
every
bankruptcy.
penny
It's
of
really
that
hard for us.
has
Like,
to be
you
made
lived in
by
Trump
a
Tower.
company
But
in
respectfully,
America.
I'm talking about taxes.
Did Biden let all the tax
Well,
stuff slide?
By the way, I'm going to eliminate.
Trump just said,
significant
I
tax.
paid
I'm gonna
millions in
make
taxes. You're going to know about
the
it.
corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500 who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it
Billions
before
of dollars.
when you were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was
right.
your
I got
tax.
it.
Well, then what does it matter if it's 28 or 21? It doesn't matter.
Boom,
And
like it's
and
never
the
Why am I
economy
starting
is
like
lost
earlier than
$1
yours?
Now, Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes for American people.
But in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming. It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president,
Oh, hey, do
more
we have
jobs
Noah?
were created.
Yes, you do.
1.5 million more jobs.
Oh,
than in the first 3 years
it's Noah
of your
Colwyn.
presidency.
No
the
opinion.
slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest.
Well, this is going
recovery.
super.
Also,
Yeah, what do you think so far?
something that was down here. All you had to do was turn
Honestly,
on the
I
lights
think it's
and you
fucking
pick up a
riveting.
lot.
This is
But
incredible.
the
It
slowest
just is
economic
like so.
recovery
It's just
since
like
1929.
every
Let me tell you
single
about
like
the stock
thought that
market.
you've ever had
When
about
the
how
stock
presidential
market goes
debates
up,
are
that
just
means
like
jobs. It
devoid
also
of
means
meaning,
401ks.
performance, and
If
all
you
that.
got
This
in,
is just
if
like
you
this
ever
is like
became
where that
president
ends.
with
That was
your
all
ideas,
like
you want to
a
terminate my
line
tax-
to
my
here.
taxes,
Like the
I'll
like
tell
that
you what,
path
you'll
just
lose
like brought us
half
to
of the
this,
companies
and
that
I
have poured
am.
in here
I'm loving
will
it,
leave.
man.
And plenty of
I'm
companies
here
that are
for it.
already
I'm
here,
with
they'll
it.
leave
I
from
love
other
it. I
places.
love it.
They will leave, and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Mr.
We
Vice
inherited
This has got to be the last one of
the worst
these.
recession
Like,
No,
this is
no.
just-
in American history.
After this,
I was asked
you know,
to bring it back.
last year of
We were able to
America.
have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking
Going
about.
forward,
we handed him a booming
they
economy.
have to
He
redesign
blew
all
it.
these
It
things.
wasn't
Here's my
blew
thing.
it. He
It
blew
wasn't
The
booming.
candidates
It
ask
was-
each
it
other
was the
questions. They
weakest
write the
recovery
questions.
Sir, is it
since
fair to, wait, is it fair
1929.
Like, that's it.
is it fair to say he blew it when the
When
He's on the moderator, keep the
when there
time.
was record
But, like, otherwise,
low
no questions being
unemployment
asked by the
before
moderator.
COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID,
Manufacturing
manufacturing
went in the
was-
hole.
Manufacturing went in the
They
hole.
asked the question.
Number one. Number two.
They would ask each other questions. Well, I mean, okay,
It would take
maybe the
you
safer
another
Questions
shift.
to the moderator.
Chris,
that would probably be
Chris,
the safer way
they
to do
said
it. Fine,
it
but I do
would
like the
take a
dramatic
miracle
flair
to bring
of the
back
questions being
manufacturing.
asked.
I brought back
by a
700,000
And
jobs.
then they
They
just
brought
refused
back
to
nothing.
answer.
They
So I
gave
think
up
you
on
need
manufacturing.
moderators
Not
It's standard fare.
I'm the guy
He
that brought
totally
back
gave
the
up on
automobile
manufacturing.
industry.
All right, let him know.
We brought back.
Yeah, but this is proving that the moderator has no
Chrysler and
authority,
General
which
Motors
is what
brought them
we're
back right
watching
here in the
right
state
now.
of Ohio.
This is the death of the
He
moderator.
doesn't
They're
have
gone.
authority,
He
but
blew
he
it.
has the
And in
appearance
fact,
of
they're
authority.
going.
Michigan sure as shit did not have the best year it ever had last
Michigan
year.
had the best year they've ever had.
Considering
It's not
Many
true.
car
City
companies
of
came in
Detroit
from
is
Germany,
still
from
largely,
John, went to Michigan.
Can
went
you
to
imagine
Ohio,
like that?
and they
Like we
didn't
showed
come
some
in
poll
with
before
it.
this started that was like 3% of people say that tonight's debate will have will have an impact on which way they vote. My question is, just how much are those 3% lying?
China's made affected the
I
art of the
think there's a
steal.
lot of
We
lying
have a
going
higher
on.
deficit
And
with
also,
China now
it's
than we did
3% of people
before. We have the
watching.
highest
I'm not sure how many
trade
people
deficit
actually
with
watching.
Mexico.
I mean,
All
it's
right,
gentlemen,
China ate your lunch, Joe.
There's just like no way that this
Goes in and he
could possibly
takes out-
persuade anyone of
He
anything
takes
other than
out
that like our
billions
country
of
rocks
dollars,
and is in a very
takes
healthy
out billions
place.
of dollars to
Yeah.
manage. He
Other
makes
than
millions
like
of dollars.
cool
And also,
chill
while we're at it,
vibing.
why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million.
Here we go.
What did he do to
Here we
deserve
go.
it? What did he do with Burisma
None
Okay,
to
of
deserve
that is true.
$183,000?
None
You've
of
asked
that
your
is
question,
true.
let him answer.
None of that is true. It's
Oh, really? He didn't
totally
get
But no,
$3.5
hey,
million?
Mr. President,
It's
Mr.
totally-
President, please.
totally discredited. And by the way,
Well, wait, he
That's
got
right.
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice
He got
Mr.
$3.5 million.
President,
that is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh.
President,
But, Mr.
it's an open discussion, please.
Now,
It's a fact.
Well,
Oh,
you can raise an issue.
Hunter
Let
deserves
the
to have
Vice
his
President
vote, so
answer.
there you go.
Discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report.
$183,000 a month?
He's going to spend that
With
way
no
better than Trump
experience
has
in
spent a
energy?
dime of his money.
Look,
President,
my son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he
and
did.
Mr.
the only guy
President,
that
let
did
him
something-
answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited. And you
He
can-
knows I
by
have the
everybody.
truth.
Well, by the media,
This might be
by
where we
our
get-
allies, by the World
Come
Bank,
on. Come on.
by everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oath.
World
So let me ask you
Bank.
this,
Henry,
Joe.
under
No,
oath.
go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to you.
Possibly
People
trust
He
more.
got $3.5
He
million from
testified,
Moscow.
he testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
I don't know who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list of the people who
No,
testified.
no, go ahead.
We're reaching dangerous
You've
levels of
already fired
malarkey.
most of them because
Yeah.
they did a good job.
Some people
I'll tell you,
don't.
who told you that? I'll tell you who told me when you tell me who
It's hard
told
to
you.
get anywhere. Excuse me.
Hey, let me just tell you.
No, Mr. President.
That is simply
Why did he deserve $3.5 million from Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We want to talk about families and ethics.
This is like
I
a
don't want
Dom
to do
Knotts
that.
routine.
I mean, his family we could talk about all night. His family's
My
already
family,
No, let him go.
my family
already
lost
wrote
a
it.
Fight.
fortune by
Fight.
helping
I
us
don't
with
think it's like
government.
And
cut
that's
it
such
right.
a-
It's like,
Mr.
ah.
That's such
Every
a great.
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune
about
by
my
coming and
family or
helping
his
us with
family. It's
government.
about your family,
They
the
didn't
American
collect
people.
$3.5 million
He
for
doesn't.
nothing.
That's not true. It doesn't want to talk about what you need. You, the American people. It's about you. That's what we're talking about.
I feel so.
Not
That's the end
about
of the,
his.
that's the
Wow.
end of the segment. We're moving
Biden is
on.
trying to make like full
Vice
President,
statements,
ex-
and that's
no.
a
Can I be
big
honest?
mistake.
It's a
Just say
very
something
polite
like,
you know,
"Hey, have you seen
whoever
his
gave him the
kids?"
guidance.
The answer to the question is no.
Hold up a
Yeah.
picture of
No,
his kids.
sir,
with
There-
$1 billion
you would do it.
That
You're-
is
if you're-
you know what, you're-
absolutely not
Stop.
true.
Tape doing it.
You're going to
Not
have
true.
Gentlemen,
Except for Barron and Tiffany.
I hate to raise my voice,
he's
but I
on
see it seems
tape.
to be, why should I be different than the two of you?
There's no
Here's
fighting in the war room,
We
gentlemen.
have
Ask Trump which
6
one,
seconds.
which one he
We've
likes
ended
more,
that
Don
segment.
Jr. or Eric.
We're going
He's
to go to
think
the
about
next
who's gonna give
segment.
an
In that
answer. He's not
segment,
expecting
you
that.
each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted
It's gonna
moments,
be
Mr.
Eric.
President, you can say anything you want. I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else,
Shut up
go
about the
ahead.
segments. I don't
But
care. Nobody cares about your little
think that
rules.
the
Fuck you.
country would be better served if
Break
we
it.
allowed
Hook you with
both
them.
people
Throw it
to
at 'em.
speak with
Yeah.
fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do
They like beat a guy to death in like
Well,
fucking
frankly, you've
Congress
been doing
before
more
the Civil War.
interruptions.
Why
That's
can't
all
we
right, but
do
he
that?
does plenty.
Yeah.
Well, less than, sir,
but the segments.
Less than you have. Let's Please continue on.
Actually, the only way
The issue of race, Vice President Biden,
I
you
need
say
y'all to
that
keep your cool so we
President
can discuss
Trump's
race.
Every
response
single
to the violence in Charlottesville
op-ed
3 years ago
about this is
was
going to be
talk
about the breakdown
very
in
fine
decorum or
people
whatever
on both
bullshit.
sides.
Oh my
was what
God! Can you
directly
imagine the
led
fucking
you
hectoring editorials that are coming
to
tomorrow?
launch this
I
run
can,
for president?
because I'm writing one.
I
Trump,
shan't
you
look.
have often said that you believe
check
you
my-
have
check out
done
my-
for
more
everyone to
for
decide
black
who the
Americans
president
than
is,
any
and I
president,
will-
with the possible exception
This
of
is a good
Abraham
time.
Lincoln. My question
Good time
to
as
the two
any
of
to
you
announce that I just
is
hired my
why should
tablet
voters
to weekly
trust
columns
you
called
rather
Don't
than
Mess
your
with
opponent
Texas. You know,
to deal
little-
with the race
give me slice
issues
of life
facing
stuff,
this
but, you know, I'm
country
gonna
over
talk
the
about
next 4
serious
years?
issues in it, too.
Vice President Biden, you go first.
You're going to be the Will
It's
Rogers
about
of our
equity
era.
and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. We've never.
I'm gonna go check out what at truth is. What is at truth been up to?
Close your eyes. Remember what those people look like coming out of the fields carrying torches,
the most upsetting
their veins
thing.
bulging,
In the dead of night,
shooting, and just
they
spewing
snuck in.
anti-Semitic bile,
And this was very
accompanied
recently,
by
over
the
the
Ku
past
Klux Klan. A
maybe
young woman
3
got
months,
killed.
maybe.
And they asked
And
the
they
president what he thought. He
replaced
said
the
there were
word
very
equality
fine
with
people
equity.
on both sides.
And
No
it's
president's ever
disgusting.
said anything
It's
like
disgusting.
that.
I hate
Now,
That's a real thing.
second point
That
I
was
make to you is that when
That's a
Floyd
what?
was killed,
Yeah, we're
when Mr.
losing
Floyd
we're
was
losing you,
killed,
Virgil.
there was a peaceful protest
I
in front
thought
of the White
that
House.
was, sorry, you're breaking up,
What
Amber.
did he do? He came out of his
I'm
bunker,
losing you,
had the
Amber.
military use tear gas on him.
You'll
so
never
they
lose
walked
it.
around
check. Can you hear me?
and hold up a Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with
No,
him said
it's something
all
I've
he
noticed
ever
in
wants to do is
all of
divide
the
people,
lib
not unite people at
emails
all.
that I get, which would be
This is a
only
president
fucking,
who has used
my only
everything
portal
as
into
a
this
dog
hysteria.
whistle to try
Equality
to
is
generate
gone. It's only
racist
equity.
hatred,
It is
racist
a
division.
conservative
This is a
concept,
man who, in
actually.
fact, you talk about helping African Americans.
It's not
only know it
liberté,
is-
égalité,
1,000
equité.
African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus.
I only know equity
And if he
in
doesn't do
terms
something
of
quickly by the end
shares
of the
in a
year,
company.
1 in
Yes,
500
exactly.
will have been killed.
So I wanna
1 in
know
500
if this was,
African
like,
Americans.
fucking
This
snuck
man,
in
this
by
man
high finance
is a
to
savior
replace
of African
equality.
Americans.
Because
This
equity
man
means you have a
cares at all.
stake in something.
This man's done
Yeah.
virtually
I want
nothing.
everyone-
Mean that you are
The
equal
fact
to
is
people.
that you
should
have
get
to
a
look
stake
at
in
what he
something.
talks
I
about.
want everyone
You have to
holding
look at what
shares
he
in human
did.
rights.
And what he did
Yes,
has
exactly,
been
exactly.
disastrous
It's a
for the African American
disgusting.
community.
It's aesthetically, first of all, awful.
President Trump,
That's
you have
all.
2 minutes. Why should
And
Americans
I don't know when
trust
it
you
happened,
over
and I wanna know
your
who did
opponent
it.
to deal with
He did a
racism?
crime
I know
bill,
where bodies came from. That was
1994,
Foucault. It
where
happened
you called them
gradually.
super
Where did
predators,
equity come
African
from?
Americans, the super predators. And
Don't
they've
look at
never
me.
forgotten
Wait,
it.
wait,
They've
wait.
never forgotten it, Joe.
Virgil,
Trump-
you know,
It's his
I know
Trump's-
you know
Trump's-
this.
Don't look
hit-
at me.
They call you super
Trump's
predator,
hitting
and I'm letting people
Biden
out of
on his
jail
actual
now
record,
that
which
you
is the
have
thing that I
treated
think is
the
going to make him actually
African-American
angry.
population community
Amber,
the way you
when
treated the
equity
black
was happening,
community
I was taking a
about as
trip
bad
to
as
Antarctica
anybody
to
in
watch
this
the
country.
penguins.
You did the 1990, and that's why if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long
is he
time
gonna talk about,
because
like,
they saw what
BLM
you did.
thugs in
You
the same
called them
breath as
super
talking about how
predators,
Biden
and you've
calls
called
black
them
people
worse than that.
super
Because you
predators.
look back at your testimony
He
over the years,
absolutely
you've called
does
them a
that.
lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250
You guys
military
know,
leaders and generals. Total
Kubrick's daughter's
support.
QAnon?
Law enforcement, almost every
Cool.
law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have Portland.
That reminds
The
me, speaking of
sheriff
famous
just came out
daughters,
today and he said,
a
"I
big happy
support
birthday to
President
Clara
Trump."
Mamet,
I don't think you
26
have
today.
any law enforement.
Oh,
You
hell
can't
yeah.
even say the word law enforcement because
I appreciate her father's work on state
you're
and
going to lose
Maine.
all of your radical left supporters.
So he
And
just
why
goes
aren't
from
you
saying,
those
you
words,
call them
Joe?
super
Why don't you
predators
say
to
words
the
law
cops
enforcement?
love
Because
me. They
you know
love
what?
me.
If they called us in
Not you.
Portland,
Well,
we
why
would
don't
put
they
out
love
that
Biden
fire
if
in
you
a
didn't?
half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day. And
Looking
they
at
put
you, do
their
Tex
hands and we
Buddhist. It's a
got
good
back
movie.
Seattle.
Doesn't believe
We
in law and order,
got
but he did the
it
crime bill.
back,
In the
Jeff,
same
because
answer.
we
In the
believe
same
in law and
answer.
order,
I
but
do
you
it.
don't.
In the same
The top
answer.
10 cities and just about
Started
the
with the
top
crime bill
40
and ended
cities
with you don't
are
want law and
run by
order.
Democrats and in
The
many
same
cases
2-minute
radical left, and
sentence.
they've got you wrapped around
Started
their
with the
finger,
crime bill.
Joe,
Started
to
with
a
the
point
crime
where
bill.
you
Now
don't
we're
want
here.
to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand.
I'm gonna bump that up a level of malarkey. It's a subtle level, but it's a level.
I want to return to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case, decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there's systemic injustice in this country, in education, in work, and in law enforcement, and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to
Chris,
take
how
care
are the
of us.
Malarkey
But
levels
there are
not
some
critical?
bad apples, and when they occur, when they find them, they have
given
to
how
be
high of a
sorted
pitch
out.
of malarkey
They
we
have to be
started
held
at, I'm
accountable.
waiting
They have
for
to be
some
held
real
accountable. What I'm gonna
malarkey.
do
I'm
is
waiting
press
for
the
Joe
United
Biden to
States
get
to
angry.
call together
They're
an
dancing
entire
around the
group of
malarkey.
people. as
We've
they
gone
have
as high as
well,
high,
everything
but
from
we've
civil
not
rights
gotten to
groups,
critical
police
yet.
officers, the police chiefs,
Yeah.
and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out so we change the way in which we have more transparency
I knew it was going to
in
be
when
dull
these
in the
things
beginning,
happen.
but I
These
would
cops
hope, I
aren't happy
hoped
to
that
see what
it
happened
would
to George Floyd.
accelerated
These cops aren't happy to see what happened to
Oh, I
Breonna
think it has. I
Most
think it's
don't like it,
intensifying.
but we have
I
to
think
have a
this is
system
bringing things
where
up a
people are
level.
held
This is
accountable.
a new
And
level
by the way,
debate.
violence
Well,
in
but
response is never
your
appropriate.
levels are
Never
higher than
appropriate.
mine, more
Peaceful
generally. You
protest
idle
is.
high.
Violence is never
No, I
appropriate.
just mean.
What is peaceful
Have you been
protest?
watching them
When they
just
run
yell at
through
each
the middle
other?
of a town
Like
and
not
burn down your stores
doing
and kill
any.
people all over the place?
Not
and
even
use
just
PD
yelling.
squad.
You've seen this?
But
This
you
is
said
unprecedented.
President Trump, I'd like to
It's never
continue
happened
the issue of
before in
race.
the
I
debate.
promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment.
I mean, I don't know.
This month,
I don't
your
think you've been watching,
administration,
Amber.
directed federal
You are-
agencies to end
Yeah, they're
racial
screaming at each other.
sensitivity training that addresses
Are they
white
gonna do a
privilege
town hall
and
one?
critical race theory.
Oh
Why
God,
did
no,
you
I don't think
decide
so. Thanks
to do
to
that,
COVID,
to
they
end
get out of the
racial
town hall.
sensitivity
I
That
don't
was
know,
my
man. I don't know, man.
Do you believe?
Why
Wait,
not?
did they
There's
just
a lot
ask-
of
No,
racism
no,
in
no,
this
it's not a
country.
question we have to ask. It's already established.
Did they just ask Donald Trump about critical race theory?
No, he's like referenced it in like his bullshit lately. Like he's like brought like critical race theory, the 1619 project. Like when he went on one about all that the other day.
Oh boy.
So does everybody
What
else.
is radical,
And he would know.
what is
Oh, it was
radical
totally
about
racist.
racial sensitivity training?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and frankly very sick ideas.
I get that it's hostile,
really, they were
but I haven't
teaching
seen
people
the
to hate our
low
country.
blows
And I'm
that
not
I
going to do that.
expected,
I'm not
you
going to
know?
allow that to
I
happen.
kind of imagined he would go
We
further
have
with
to go
Hunter.
back to the
Chris,
core
Chris,
values of this country.
Chris, it all
They were
starts with the
teaching
Cohombi River
people
Collective
that our
Statement.
country is a horrible place. It's a racist place, and they were teaching people to hate our country.
I'm glad. It rocks so hard that we're talking about undergraduate level college course tuitions or instruction curriculums at a presidential debate.
Literally, like
racial insensitivity.
the
People
most
have to be
fucking,
made
like,
aware
petty
of what
bourgeois
other people feel
bullshit
like, what
that doesn't
insults
matter
them,
to
what is
anyone.
demeaning to them.
It's so
important
funny,
that
man.
People know they don't want to.
Like-
Many people don't want to hurt other people.
Like I hate when people say like, "Oh, this is like what we deserve. This is what we get." But it's like what I think is like we're.
Sorry.
Well, no, but it's not. It's not about like what we deserve. It's just that it's like I just like accept that this is like the logical conclusion of all the bullshit that like we sweat through. Like it's just like this all of this feels like so true.
They look down on people who
It's
are
a gerontocracy. Our rulers are.
In fact,
the ship is heading towards an iceberg. There's no one, and everyone in the deck, everyone on the deck is 90 years old, shitting themselves and screaming at each other.
I mean, President Trump said.
Yeah.
During the Obama
They're literally
Biden
shitting their pants.
administration, there was
They're
tremendous
dying
division.
and shitting.
There
They're
was
dying in
hatred.
their own
You look
shit.
at, Ferguson.
They're
you look
shitting
at-
out their
you look
doo-doo
at
asses.
many
The
places.
whole
Look
country
at
is shitting
Oakland.
out
Look
its
what happened
doo-doo
in
ass.
Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now. But the
While we're on this,
reason
can I just say,
is that
cancel the colleges this
Democrats that
year.
run these
Just
cities
cut the shit out.
Don't want to
Cancel
talk
the
like you
colleges
about
forever.
law and order. And you still haven't mentioned.
Empty the
Are you
colleges.
in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you in
it.
favor
I
of
agree
law and
completely.
order? Go
There's a
ahead.
goddamn pestilence on the land. Stop going to college campuses.
Let him.
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration.
It went down. No, it went down more in ours.
He has.
All right, Mr. President, you're going to Mr. President,
every record in the book.
Mr. President, you're going to be very happy because we're now going to talk about law and order.
Places we had trouble with Democratic-run cities.
That's exactly my question. There has been a dramatic
Mr. President, we're going to talk about the merits of Michael Moriarty versus Sam Waterston.
And you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question is this really a party
brought up Ivanka and
I think
Eric
it's a party issue.
fucking
You could
Don
bring in a
Jr.
couple
So
of
it's
examples,
like,
but if you look
yes,
at Chicago,
Also,
what's going on in
it's like the
Chicago,
problem
where
is that like what Trump can just say it and
53
Biden
people were shot
can
and
deny
8
it,
died
and then they
shot.
just like it's just
If you look
awkward.
at New York, where
I'm waiting for
like nobody's ever seen anything.
That didn't happen. That did. No, who says? Who says? You didn't happen.
I'm waiting for Trump to say.
It's like what happens when you. It's like what happens when you have like two iPhone series like talk to one another. That's what this debate is. I just realized. It's like when you get the AI, it's like just like yeah, that's what this is.
It's when you would take the 40s and face them
Yes, yeah.
And you would see problems like
he would know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would not. I was
pretty good.
raised in the suburbs. This is not 1950. All these dog whistles and racism.
And here we go. Here we are. This is the true debate. Who knows the suburbs better?
There's many people today driving their kids to soccer practice and or to black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time
honestly,
in the
Biden's
past.
got the edge here.
What really
Donald
is a
Trump
threat
has
to the
no
suburbs
suburban
and their
experience.
safety.
Biden is a creature of the suburbs.
Queen.
You adopted the suburbs. I was born in the suburbs, molded by them.
They're being burned out because
But it is-
refusal to
You
leave.
merely built
That's
golf
why
courses
the
in the
suburbs are in
suburbs.
trouble.
I do want to talk about this issue of law and order.
I believe
And
so,
in
yeah.
The joint recommendation that came
But
from
Biden does have the edge, right? Because
Bernie
Delaware is a
Sanders
gigantic
task force,
suburb.
You talked about.
I mean, Delaware is like
reimagining
the only
policing.
good thing.
First of all, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support? Let me, if I might finish the question, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support the Black Lives Matter?
All of Queens is strange. Doesn't Felix live in Queens?
Call
yes.
for community control of.
Do you support Black Lives Matter? Here we go.
What I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm totally
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to give Biden a malarkey for that. I support police opportunities.
Yeah, it literally, his answer to that question is just begins as I
They
support
need more
police.
assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down. We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be
like we had
what
before.
they're talking about, Chris. That's not what
Police opportunities, the ones that never knock.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any law support. He has no law enforcement
That's not
support.
true.
Almost
That's
nothing.
Look.
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go ahead. Think. We have time.
We don't have time to do anything.
Think
All
about
right.
it.
You can't think of a law enforcement group that
Gentlemen, I think
He is majority.
Take back the moderator.
You have majority support among the troops, you idiot. Like literally that.
He said law. And he probably does have somebody
straight days of protests.
Maybe not though, because
I
that's the
think
thing.
would have been a peaceful protest. Many of them
they love
turned
Trump,
into
yeah.
riots.
To hate, be like, no, I love the cops more. It's like, sorry, dude, you're fucked. You can't do that.
This is why I wish.
Accountable. The question I
I
have
wish we
is,
could be watching.
Democratic
I wish we
nominee,
could be
and
watching.
earlier tonight you said that
anyone
you
else. I
are
wish
the
we could be watching
Democratic
better
Party
right now
right
you know
now.
he'd say some shit.
Have you
like,
ever called
Yeah,
Je
Democratic
suis
mayor
le
or
pâté.
I support
the
law
Democratic
enforcement
governor
locking
of
you up.
Oregon and said, hey,
Yeah.
you got to stop this.
No,
Bring in the
actually, that
National
would be
Guard.
like a
Do
Joss
whatever it
Whedon
takes, but you stop the days and
Dude, give us
months
Joss
of
Whedon.
violence.
It doesn't matter.
Oh.
Anyone.
I
Just
don't
give us
hold
anyone
public
right
office now. I am a former vice
Honestly,
president.
if Joe
I've made it
Biden was just
clear.
saying like,
I've made it
did
clear in
that
my
just
public
happen?
statements.
Like that would probably would be like an
So-
effective tactic for
Anyone who
dealing with
commits
this.
a
You've never called for
Yeah.
the leaders
I'd rather
of the
not
leaders-
lose the
excuse me,
election
sir.
today.
You had never called for the leaders in
So
Portland
this
and
is a debate.
in Oregon to
This is a
bring
John
the National
Favreau
Guard
tweet.
and knock off
Trump looks
100
angry and
days of
petulant.
run.
They can,
Biden's
in
smiling
fact,
and
take care of it if
confident.
he just
All
stays-
is
Oh,
well.
getting
Oh,
Wait, I asked him a
Marshals
question.
to get the killer of a young man in the middle of the street. They shot him, and for 3 days,
President Trump.
Portland didn't do anything. They had to send in the U.S. Marshals.
President
They took
Trump.
care of business.
Go ahead, sir.
He's just
Agree
freaked
to
out.
They
He's
just
just
like do
his
not
own
care
former
about any like
spokesperson
talking
said,
about anything is like
riots
impressive.
and chaos and violence help
It's
his
just
cause.
like it's just like watching it's like watching all the guys at the end of The Irishman shuffling.
I mean, look, John Favreau.
This is the end of The Irishman. This is it. Cut the black.
Here's the point.
Cut the black.
The point is that that's what
Yeah,
he is,
John
keep
Favreau is
trying to
bad
rile
politics,
everything up.
but who here is
He
not
doesn't wanna
excited for
calm
season
things
2 of The
down.
Mandalorian?
Instead of going in and talking to people and saying,
Well, it's
"Let's
the
get everybody
Chad
together,
Hollywood
figure out
John
how to deal
Favreau
with this."
versus the
What's he
virgin
do?
other
He just
Hollywood
pours
John
gasoline on the
Favreau.
fire.
The
Constantly.
Chad
And every single
John
song-
Favreau, the
Okay,
director,
and
who used all his
this
Hollywood, who
button up
gets
this
paid
segment, I'm
for
gonna give you a
every
minute to
Marvel
answer,
movie,
sir.
despite
You have
only directing
repeatedly
2 of them,
criticized-
2 or 3 of them, 2 of them,
So I'm gonna put this out publicly now.
and uses all his Hollywood clout to just
asking you
cook
to
nice
get
food
over
with his
here.
friends.
I would love to.
Chad.
10,000
You know, if you want to switch
to
seats,
you four and
we would very
10,000
quickly.
people
We can do that, but I'm
watching
not-
this
Send in
right
the
now.
National Guard, it would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay.
I
They don't
would
want to
like to
accept
go
the
as the
National
client.
Guard.
You have
for
repeatedly
Halloween,
criticized
but no one is
the
manufacturing
vice
this
president
costume,
for
and I do
not
not know how to
specifically
acquire it.
calling out Antifa and other left-wing
If there was a
extremist
custom,
groups.
costume,
But are you willing
cosplay
tonight to
costume,
condemn white
producer
supremacists
that I
and
could
militia
contract
groups
that's-
and
what I would guess
to
is
say
short
that
notice
they
right now, Halloween's
need
month
to
away.
stand down and not
I would take
add
that
to the
prefer.
violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've
have to
seen in
drop some
Portland?
points.
Are you
I'm willing
prepared
to
to
do that.
specifically?
I think I would,
I would
yeah.
say-
Well, I mean,
I
the
would
thing,
say
you look at the
almost
costume, like I feel like I
everything
could put
see
the
is from
most
the
of the
left
pieces
wing,
together from
not from the
thrift
right
stores.
So
wing.
what are you
If you look,
saying?
I'm willing to do anything.
He has no idea what they're asking him to say. He has no idea.
What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to
supremacists,
condemn?
white supremacists and white
Cowboys,
supremacists.
stand back and stand by.
Yeah, really,
I'll
you
tell
did,
what,
like, you
I'll
went,
tell you
like,
what,
full,
somebody's
like,
got to do something
yeah,
about
you went full
Antifa
tank.
and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem.
His
This
own
is a left wing.
FBI director
This
said,
is a
Chris, people in the chat are saying they can't hear me.
white supremacists.
can people really not hear? Can you hear Virgil? It's coming
They
through.
say like the debate is
Here's an
loud.
idea.
Dude, they say a lot of things. Ignore them.
Director said.
Well, then you know what?
No,
He's
no,
wrong.
we're done.
I'm
sir.
try-
We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
That's not an idea.
Everybody in your
Antifa is
administration
bad.
tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas that are
Antifa,
Let him go. Let him
Antifa
shut
is
the fuck up. Let him talk.
Gentlemen, we're now moving on to the Trump and
You ought to be
Biden
careful with
records.
them. They'll overthrow you.
When a president, I'm going to ask a question. When the president seeks a second term, it is
Antifa wants to
generally a
overthrow the government?
referendum
What
on his
government?
record. But Vice President Biden,
Biden,
like
you like to
one of
quote your
dad's
dad, Neil
sayings,
Kinnock?
which is, don't compare me to the Almighty, compare me to the alternative. And in this case, sir, you are the alternative. Looking at both of your records, I'm going to ask each of you,
question. The
why
only
should
question they should
voters
have asked.
elect you president?
Who does
over
God
Joe Biden?
ordain?
Who's Joe
In
Biden's
this
dad?
segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because
Biden
there has
seen?
never
Joe
been
Biden
an
is his own dad,
administration or
actually. He's just
president
that kind of
who
guy.
has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5
All right,
years.
I gotta piss
and
real
that's
quick.
despite the impeachment hoax.
Chad is not
and
allowed to
the
complain
Hillary
about Volume 1
with
gone. It's only
Hillary
going to
Clinton,
anger
where
the
it was a
host.
whole big con job. But despite going through all of these things where I had to fight both flanks and behind me and above, there has never been an
I have to figure out,
administration
though,
that's done what I've
how
done.
to fix
The greatest before COVID
my
came in, the greatest
bad
economy in history, lowest
audio.
unemployment
I'll
numbers.
ask Chris about this.
Everything was
Because I
good.
can do it with
Everything was
recording
going. And
now,
by the
but I
way,
can't do it with live
there was
stream.
unity going to happen. People
But,
were
like, right
calling
now,
for
your
the
audio
first
sounds
time
fine.
in years they were calling
They all,
and they were
like,
saying
it's
it's time
still-
maybe, and then what
Really?
happened? We got hit, but now we're
Because-
building it
It
back
sounds
up again.
it sounds
The
fine. There
rebuilding
is
of
an
the
echo.
military,
Yeah,
including
but
Space
that's
Force
I
and
mean
all of
it's
the other
not
things.
like bad.
A fixing
It's just
of
like a little.
the
Well,
VA,
there was like
which
a
was a mess
how, like, I
under
sounded
him.
like I was,
308,000 people died
so I
because
just
they didn't have
reported
proper health care.
independently
It was a mess.
I don't remember
And
that.
we now got a 91% approval rating at the VA, our vets. We take care of our vets. But we've
It sounds
rebuilt
fine
our
for a
military.
street as well.
The job that we've done, and I'll tell you something, some people say maybe the most important. By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300, and hopefully 3
man, my
great
stomach just
Supreme
sank.
Court justices. That is a record, the likes of which very few people. And you know one of the reasons I'll have so many judges?
They did do it. It's just like,
Obama and him left
yeah.
me
So judicial
128
review, gotta go.
judges to fill. When you leave office,
Wasn't
you don't
Obama
leave
proud of-
100
I'm gonna
judges.
get a drink.
That's like
Are we
you
gonna?
just don't do
Is
that.
judicial
They
review
left
gonna end in our Matt? Do you think
128
judicial review will end in our
openings. And if I
lifetime?
were a member of his party, because
Yeah,
they have
it
a
will
little
either
different
end in our
philosophy,
lifetime
I'd
or-
say if you left.
I mean, we're not going to have a democracy one way or the other. I mean, we're not going to have this system one way or the other
You
in our
can't be a
lifetime.
good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term. 300 judges. It's a record.
Looking at both of your records, why should voters elect you president as opposed to President Trump? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Under this president, we become weaker, sicker,
Man,
poorer.
what a fucking question.
Fuck, didn't Obama leave all these fucking judicial
When I was
policies?
vice president,
But the thing is that that's
just
I was
humiliating.
asked to fix it.
Fucking
I did. We
humiliating.
left him a
Well, it's
booming
like the
economy,
Republicans, like
and
they
he
put all these
caused a
fucking
recession.
holds and did all the
With
blue,
regard
you know, like
to
they
being
did all
weaker,
this stuff to like
the
jam up
fact
the
is
works
that
for as long as they
I've gone
could,
head-to-head
and
with
it's just
Putin,
like
and
the
they
Democrats
included him,
just
"We're not
like
gonna take any of his stuff."
like they didn't.
He's
They,
Putin's puppy. He still
I mean,
refuses
like
to
they
even
didn't
say
do anything.
anything to
Like they
Putin
haven't
about
sounded the
the
alarm
bounty on
when
the
that was
heads of
going
American
on.
soldiers.
They just like
Sundown
complained
did
fucking
$1
about it.
billion.
And,
Well, Reid changed the
And by the
filibuster
way,
rule. That was like the only
Mr.
big
President,
thing, and it took him
Mr.
like 4 years
President,
to do that.
Your campaign
Took him like 5,
agreed
6 years to do that.
Both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
He never keeps his word. Can you add
No,
back
no, I'm not asking. That was a
Got him.
Can you
Go
add
ahead,
back
sir.
30
Wow.
seconds?
Yeah, yes, you may have.
I am I before you guys.
So,
I don't understand this.
Thirdly, we're poor.
because you're watching on the
Billionaires have
TV
got
and
much
we're
more.
watching
I'm
on the
not.
screen.
No, I'm not. I'm on YouTube.
Oh, the late Walter
$300 billion more
I'm
just
on
since COVID.
C-SPAN's
You in the
actual,
home, you got
stream on
less.
the website.
You're in more trouble than you were before.
The
In
website or on
terms of
YouTube?
being more violent.
The
When we
website.
were in office, there were 15%.
All right, chat. What is our Malarkey
violence
level
in
at right
America
now? I
than
was
there is
gone for a
today.
second.
He's president of the United States. It's on his watch. And with regard to more divided, the nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you
critical
talk
minimum.
about the
I think right
military,
now
way you
the
talk about
Malarkey's
them
at
being losers and being and just being suckers.
seems like a low
My
peak.
son was
I'm
in
gonna downgrade
Iraq.
the Malarkey.
Spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was
Oh,
a
are they
patriot. And the
Oh, they're
people
talking
left
about his dead
behind
son?
there were
Oh,
his
this is
sons.
high
And I
Malarkey.
resent
He-
it myself.
he-
I'm talking about my son,
Ooh.
Beau Biden.
Oh, here we go.
I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
Critical
got thrown-
Malarkey.
Hunter
You
got
don't-
thrown
I
out of
don't
the
know,
military.
Bo.
He
You
was
got
thrown out, dishonorably
He wasn't a
discharged.
loser like your
That's not
son.
true. It wasn't dishonorable.
Cocaine use. And he didn't have a
Oh,
job until
this
you
is
became
high
vice
malarkey.
president. And once you
None of
became
that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune
This is
in
what I
Ukraine,
heard.
in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He made
My
a
son,
fortune.
my son,
And he didn't have a job.
my son, like a lot of
He
people,
loves
Stand up for
like a
your
lot
own
of people know
kid,
at
you
home,
fucking
had
coward!
a drug
You
problem.
hollow
He's
piece
overtaken
of
it.
shit!
He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm
Fucking
proud of it.
fraud
Why
I'm
was he
proud of
given
my
tens
son.
of millions
All
of
right.
dollars?
My sons have
Right.
never been offered
That
cocaine.
is totally
President Trump, you've already been
Discredited. Love their sons.
We've
Absolutely.
already been through this. I think the American people would rather
Biden
hear
loves the
about
dead
more
one.
substantial
So do I.
subjects. Well, you know, as the
Not
moderator,
sure
sir,
it's
I'm going to make
Are you
a judgment
like-
call here.
$3.5 million
Okay, right.
from the
Well, the
mayor
one
of
who was the
Moscow.
attorney general of Delaware, like he was, he was like a
Report
rising
is
star.
totally
Why did he
discredited.
go?
I thought he was going to be
Yeah,
president.
he was the one
Said
that
it
gave up the
wasn't
legacy.
worth taxpayers' money. That report is written for political
The
reasons.
real
know,
one. He was going to
I'd
be
like to talk about
Joe
climate
Kennedy's
change.
So I.
junior.
Yes,
Forest
yes,
fires
yeah.
in the West
I said he ends up
are
with
raging.
100.
Wow, climate change.
Millions of
But
acres.
Trump-
They
We're talking
have
about
the thing is, he
displaced
did do
After we're
one.
talking
hundreds
about
of
the
thousands
Kennedy
of people.
This is such
When
a
state
huge
officials
thing.
there blame the fires on
Such a huge
climate
fucking
change,
voter
Mr.
approval
President, you
because
said,
Trump
I don't
doesn't have an
think
heir
the
apparent,
science
because all his sons are
knows.
shitheads,
Over your
except for
4
Barrett.
years, you have pulled
I mean, his
the
heir
US out of
apparent
the
is
Paris
Tucker. His
Climate
heir apparent is
Accord.
Tucker, and that's
You
like
have
the
rolled back
easiest.
a number
like
of
that's just
Obama
like
environmental
No,
records.
but he's not. And
What
he's not
do you
anointing
believe
Tucker.
about the science of climate
not the same
change?
thing.
he doesn't
same.
have to. He doesn't have to anoint
do
anybody.
in
He has doesn't
4
look.
years to confront it.
I want
I'm saying
is
crystal
that
clean water
even
and
though she
air.
doesn't
I
really
want
want to
beautiful,
do it,
clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look
promise
at
to be picked
our
up.
numbers
No
right
one has
now,
it. No one's been
we
anointed.
are
No one has
doing
gotten
phenomenally.
the king's hand on them.
Also, you know what it is? You know what it is? It's literally,
If you look
he's
at
got
the
that
Paris
kind of
Accord,
Logan
it was a
Roy
disaster
thing where
from our
he
standpoint.
doesn't
And
actually,
people are
well, first of all, he
actually
thinks
very
he's never
happy
going to
about
die,
what's
and
going on
he thinks
because
David
our
there
businesses
will
are doing well.
will
As far as
kill
the
him.
fires are concerned,
Yeah.
you need forest
Acknowledging
management in
it
addition to
will
everything else.
make him die.
The
And also,
forest floors
he
are loaded
probably
up with
enjoys
trees,
playing his
dead
kids off
trees
each
that are
other.
years
Well, also
old.
let me
and
add to
they're
this and
tinder,
say, like,
and
Trump is
leaves
a
and
shitty
everything
dad.
else.
Like, he
You
puts no
drop a
work into
cigarette
his
in there,
freaking
the whole
kids. I
forest
know they're
burns down.
shitheads,
You've
but,
got to have
I mean, if
forest
I were him, I
management.
would
You've
do
got to have
like,
cuts.
What do you
putting
believe
all
about
my
the
efforts in
science
Farron
of
right
climate
now.
change, sir?
I'd be betting on
I
black.
believe that we have to do everything we can to
Like, he's
have
tall.
Immaculate air,
immaculate
so
water, and
tall.
do whatever
What-
else
what-
we can. That's
tall,
good. You know, we're
he's
planting
clearly-
a
clearly very
billion
good
trying to
tree,
get me-
billion
In
tree
2
project,
years,
and
Barron
it's very
Trump
You
exciting for a
believe
lot of
that,
12
that
feet
human
tall.
pollution, gas,
He's
greenhouse
he
gas
knows what
emissions
Twitch streams
contributes
are.
to
I
the
mean,
global
Barron Trump
warming
could
of
I
have
the
think a
like
lot of things do, but I
500,000
think to an
Twitch
extent,
subscribers
yes.
tomorrow
I
if he
think to an
wanted to.
extent, yes. But I also think we have to do better
That's
management
right.
of our
You gotta sweep the
Every
forests. You gotta
year,
sweep them.
I get the call.
Stop fire
California's
because you
burning.
can sweep the
California's
forests.
burning. If
They
that was
cleaned the
clean,
floors
if
of the
it were,
forests.
if
We're
you
gonna
had
die.
forest management, good forest management, you wouldn't be getting those calls. You know, in Europe, they have forest cities. They're called forest cities.
They're forest
maintain
moons of
their
Endor.
forests. They manage their forests. I was with the head of a major country. It's a forest city.
So this asshole's
He
going to
said,
say
"Sir,
Forest
we
City
have
for the next
trees that are
every
far
5
more
minutes for
that
the
they
next 2
ignite
months. He's
much
just going to be
easier
saying it
than
over and over again,
California.
like Howard
There
Hughes.
shouldn't be that
There's
problem.
forest
I
cities.
spoke with
They're
the governor
there's
about it. I'm getting
cities.
along very
The
well with the
forest.
governor.
They're the
And I
forest.
said, you know, at some point,
Swiss Family
you
Robinson,
can't
folks.
every year have
Perhaps you
hundreds
start
of
in
thousands of
Indiana, True
acres
City,
of land
USA.
just burned to the ground.
Beautiful
That's burning
living
down
nation.
because of a lack of
But,
management.
sir, if you believe in the science of climate change,
Right.
why have you rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited
Yeah, why
carbon
did you do that?
emissions in power plants? Why have you relaxed?
the
Because it was
energy.
driving energy prices.
By the way, can I just take a
Why have you
can
relaxed
I just take a
fuel
moment
economy
and
standards
wish
that
a
are going to
happy
create more
birthday
pollution
to
from
our
cars?
Well,
good
not
friend,
really, because
Pompey
what's
the
happening
Great,
is the car is
victor
much less
of the
expensive
Third
and it's a much
Mithridatic
safer
War.
car. And you're talking about a tiny difference.
Shut
And
up.
what would
Consul of
happen
the late
because
Roman
of the cost of the car?
Shut up,
you
Pompey.
would have
Can we
at
get the
least
PogChamp in
double
the
and triple
chat?
the
Yeah,
numbers of
can we get some
churches.
Pompey
We
the
have
Greats
old
going in the
slugs
chat?
out there that are 10, 12 years old. If you did that, the car would be safer.
Safer?
it would
What
be
difference
much
does that make?
cheaper, but
Safer? What are you talking about? Like fucking everybody goes out there and airbag?
take a lot of cars off the market because people would be able to afford a car. Now,
Can I get another,
and by the way, we're going to see how that turns out. But a lot of people agree with me. Many people. The car has gotten
I've
so
lost
expensive
it here.
because they have
What are
computers
they
all
talk-
over
what
the
are they
place
talking about?
for an extra little bit.
We're talking about why he repelled Obama's CAFE standards on automobile emissions. Now he's talking about how there are too many computers in cars.
Okay, I agree with him on
Vice
that
President
one.
Biden, I'd like you to
I don't even like
respond
automatic
to the
windows.
president's climate
Bring
They're
back
saying,
the
no,
but I also want to
Trump is
ask
saying
you
that Biden
about
let this
a concern.
dealer
You
just, like,
proposed
walk all
$2
over
trillion
him when he
in
went there,
green
honestly.
jobs.
You know, he
You
got a
talked
bad
about
deal.
new limits, not
Bring back the
abolishing,
tape
but
deck.
new limits on
kick the
fracking,
tires.
ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity by 2035, and zero net emission of greenhouse gases by 2050.
This is like the first question about climate change in like any presidential debate,
He's
right?
absolutely wrong.
They like never talk about
Number
this.
two, in fact, during our administration, the Recovery Act, I was
Back in 2008, McCain was in favor of cap and trade at the debate.
coal and gas and oil.
Remember
Nobody's
those good
gonna
old
build
days?
another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America. They're going to move to renewable energy, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that we are able to take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on their electric vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations and all of the highways.
Yeah, you should definitely be building a lot of highways.
We're going to build an economy that in fact is going to provide for the ability of us to take 4 million buildings and make sure that they in fact are weatherized in a way that
it's
in fact
just like when the tax
they'll
lobbyists
emit significantly less gas
lobby
and
to
oil
make
because the heat
taxes
will not be going
difficult.
out. There's so many things that we can do
Cars are
now to
becoming
create thousands and
difficult
thousands
to
of jobs.
repair
We can
on
get
your
to
own
net
so
zero
that it is more
in terms of
expensive
energy
and highly
production
proprietary.
by
It's the
2035.
Appleization of
Not
the
only
American
not costing
automobile.
people jobs,
That's
but
true. It has nothing to do with the cafe standards.
Good-paying jobs.
No.
$15
I
an
just
hour.
want to yell about automatic.
Prevailing wage.
Just say that I discovered a new energy source, and if I'm president, we're going to use it.
Dude, they discovered compact nuclear fusion supposedly today, so who knows? Maybe this whole thing will be moot and we'll just get bailed bailed out.
Is that true, Noah?
Deus Ex Machina, baby.
I mean, honestly, that's really what we're all banking on at this
There was a
point.
New York. I mean, there was a New York Times story, and I just like legitimately thought like, all right, I'm putting all my chips in this. In this.
More carbon is absorbed in
I believe in that. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's the Deus Ex Machina that I've been looking
Instead
for.
of doing something,
Hey, then we.
I would be gathering.
Hey,
up
if we
and
get
making
that
sure
shit, then we
have
can
the
have a billion
countries of the
Americans.
world coming in with $20 billion and say, here's $20 billion. Stop tearing down the forest. And if you don't, then
Honestly, my position is we really need to start eating more shit from the ocean.
What about the argument?
The fish are all dying, Virgil.
Yeah.
No,
we're,
I'm not
like-
talking fish, man. I mean like kelp.
Environmental interests and
Oh, so you want to like
economic
move into the
interests, and he's
Snowpiercer
drawn his
reality,
line.
but like ahead of
Well, he
time.
hadn't drawn a line. He's still.
I've never seen. I never saw
You wanna eat
Snowpiercer, so I know there's a
It's not a
train.
problem. We can.
It's,
emit more methane.
I saw-
Yeah, it's good. It's enjoyable. I've heard the television show is terrible.
I saw an episode of the TV show and it was like whatever. It's just like one.
This is the guy who says that.
Motherfucker will not stop fracking. Why should you listen to
about the
him?
Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion or $20 billion, as you said. It's
Honestly, if he came out against fracking, he
$100
would probably.
trillion.
I'm talking about
Where they want to
It's close
rebuild
enough.
buildings and rebuild the buildings.
It wouldn't be great.
That is not
where airplanes are out of business, where two-car systems are out, where they want to take out the cows too.
Want to take out the cows?
This is a $100 trillion.
Right, they're beautiful
Our
cows.
country could make in 100
I still want to know what
years
was that
if we
hospital they were
want to
talking about earlier.
Let me
destroy our
because I
country.
actually
The one we're all in.
studied
Cultivate
the
the things of
plan,
America.
and it includes upgrading 4 million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years,
Sanatorium and
building 1.5
hospice that
million
we're currently living
energy-efficient homes.
We
So
all
the
just
question
live in a big
becomes,
hospital.
the
There's a
president
man who
is saying,
comes
I
and takes
think
care of
some
us.
People who support the
Cleans
president
up after
say
us,
that
feeds us
sounds
drugs.
like it's going to cost a lot of
Thomas
money.
Mann's magic
Here's a kind of nurse
create
ratchet.
thousands and millions of jobs, good-paying
This is
jobs.
Thomas More's magic mouse. Do you not see that?
The fact is, it's going to create
Donald, you agreed to these debate terms, Donald.
tax incentives
It was
for
all
people-
very
for
fair,
people to
Donald.
weatherize, which he wants to get rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying
You know, I
now
do this
to deal
experiment
with the
sometimes
hurricanes,
where,
to
like,
deal with. By the way, he
I
has an
try
answer for
to
hurricanes. He said maybe we should
go
drop the
through
nuclear
the
weapon on them.
cows
I
and
never
bovine
said that.
creatures
He
and every
made
other
it
place
up.
on Earth.
And here's
Or
how
I
we
look at
make
like
up.
the
We are going
chickens
to be
where
in a
they
position
came from,
where
and then I
we
look
can
at how
create
Americans have
hard,
adapted
jobs
them
by
through
making
selective
sure the
breeding through
environment
agriculture.
is clean,
And you look at a
and we
cow
all are in
anywhere
better shape.
else,
We spend
and it is like a
billions
kind of
dollars
noble.
now.
You get why
Billions of
people
dollars
worship them.
on floods,
You
hurricanes,
look at the
rising
Yeah.
where the
seas.
chickens came
We're in
from.
real
You're like,
trouble.
this is a
Look
gorgeous,
what's
smart,
happening just in the
intelligent
Midwest, where
bird.
these storms
This
that come through
place
and wipe out
just
entire sections and
turns
counties in
every
Iowa.
living
They didn't
creature
happen
into
before.
a
They're
big
because
fat
of global
dummy.
warming. We make up
It's this
15%
place.
of the world's
We
problems.
don't have any sacred
We,
creatures
fact,
in America.
But
Absolutely
the
not.
rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's
And-
what we have to
and-
get back into.
It's the least sacred of all.
Paris Accords.
I mean, part of what's really funny here too is like Biden saying that like we have to get back into leading the world on the climate and everything. When it's just like China and like the rest of the world are like, you know, like Xi gave this speech recently that Adam Tooze highlighted, where he's just saying like, yeah, we're expecting to like go carbon neutral, and like they've like made the commitments that like we are like have traditionally claimed that we want to do, but that we don't actually care about. So, like we're not leading anything. We're like behind China.
I know this is path dependency, but you ever think it all would have been
made it up,
different?
and
All
then
would
they
have struck
went
out
with it.
different
I
if we
never said
listened
it.
to Benjamin
That is
Franklin
what he did.
and
He
turkey, our
said-
national
He
animal.
called the
Because
military
we would have been the only
stupid
country with
bastard.
turkeys as
I
national
did not
animal.
say
We
that.
should
I
Ben
said-
Franklin
There are
was
like
turkey.
50 eagles, and we
I'm
have
willing.
there are
I'm
like-
willing.
Have you seen the Mexican eagle? The Mexican eagle rules.
I'm willing to take like the roll of the dice on the butterfly effect of making the turkey the national bird. I think that world could possibly, on the whole, be a better one than the one that we currently live in.
Another brilliant,
Let's
great
quantum
animal
leap.
Green New
that
Deal and the
turned
idea
into
of
a
what
big
your
fat
environmental
dummy.
changes will do.
Green New Deal.
Yeah, it's just like instead in that reality, it's just like
Move
Baron
forward.
Harkonnen
We're not
becomes
gonna
the
build
president.
Plants that in fact
Wait,
are
I want to hear what
great polluting plants.
Could you
We're going to
support
build
the Green New
Joe
Deal?
says about the Green New
Pardon
Deal.
me?
Do you support
No, I don't support the Green New
Oh,
Deal.
you don't? Oh, well, that's a big statement.
I
That
support
means you
the
just
Biden.
lost the radical left.
I
Done.
support
Oh, you
the
don't.
Biden plan
What?
that I put forward.
You were just talking about
The
how great
Biden
it
plan,
is.
which is different than what he calls the radical Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen, final segment. Election
This will be
integrity.
fun.
As we meet
This will be
tonight,
good.
millions
Everyone
of
should
Americans
definitely care
are
who wins
receiving
this election.
mail-in
You
ballots
should
are
really be
going to
concerned
vote
which one
early.
of these men is
How
president, because
confident
it's really going to
should
matter
we
to your
be
fucking
that this
life.
will be a fair election? And what are
Well,
you
and definitely
prepared
caring
to
about it
do
means you can
over the
influence
next
it.
5+ weeks, because it'll not only be to
You
election
care
day,
hard
but also
enough.
counting
You'll
some
be like a Care
ballots,
Bear
mail-in
and
ballots
meet
after
and
election day.
force
What are
of
you
pure light
prepared to
from your
do
little
to
tongue.
reassure
Can
the
we get some more
American
John
people
Favreau
that the
tweets in
next
the chat?
president will be the legitimate
What's he up to? What's he
winner
saying? How's
of
this one going?
election?
I wish I could add some, but I am unfortunately the only one of us.
Oh, I'll look up. Wait, let me look at Tommy
Decide
Vietor.
how
I want to know what that
they're
guy's
gonna vote, when
saying.
they're gonna vote, the means by which they're gonna
What?
vote.
See what the Veep
His
man.
own
Oh wait, I blocked him.
Homeland
I
Security
think.
You're
Director
blocked by
and
John
the
Favreau, Matt?
FBI director says there is no evidence at all
I'm blocked
that
by
mail-in
Jean.
ballots
By
are
Jean
a
Favreau.
source of
No, I blocked Vitor. All right.
Jean
They said that.
Trump
The
is a
fact
disgusting
that there are gonna
human
be millions of
being, and
people
he
because
is
of
playing
COVID
out
that
his
are gonna be
disgraceful
voting by
character for
mail-in
all the world
ballots
to
like
see.
he does,
This
by
guy
the
used to
way.
be a
He
professional
sits behind the
communications
Resolute
staffer.
desk and sends his ballot to
Yikes.
Florida.
Yeah,
Number
I
one.
mean,
Number
Trump
two,
literally
we're gonna
just
make
refused
sure
to
that
condemn
those
white
people who
supremacists.
want to vote
So
in
point
person
Biden.
are able to vote because there's enough
To
poll
who?
there to make sure they can
Chris
socially
Wallace thinks
distance.
the former
polls are
vice
open on
president of
time,
the United
and their
States
polls
can
stay
call
open
in
until
the
votes are
Oregon
counted.
National Guard.
And this is all about trying to dissuade
got him.
people from voting
Yeah.
because
Wow,
it's
these are.
trying to
Hey, check this out.
to
The
scare
Favreau
people into
twins.
thinking that it's not going to be legitimate. Show up and vote.
What's Favreau
You
doing?
will
What's
determine
Favreau
the
got?
outcome of this
I'm
election.
blocked. I can't
Vote,
see it.
Vote,
Oh,
vote.
let me. All right, let me
If you're
find.
able
Let
to
me find
vote
the
early in
Favreau.
your state,
Why do you
vote
block
early.
me? What
If you're able to vote
Why
in
should you
person,
vote for?
vote in
Why
person,
should these people
whatever
vote for
way is the
you,
best
though,
way
Joe?
for you.
Joe, you're the
Because
one on the
you will-
ballot.
he
Why should
cannot
they vote
stop
for
you
you,
Oh,
though?
John
from being
Favreau
able
is
to
he's
determine
doing the coward's
outcome
way
of
out of this one. He's
election.
retweeting
And in
a lot.
terms of whether or not when the votes are counted and they're all counted,
Trump
that will be
answers
accepted. If
a
I
question
win,
about his
that will
second
be
term
accepted.
agenda
If I
by
lose,
complaining
that'll be
about
accepted.
impeachment.
But by the way,
Sure,
if in
that'll
fact
get
he
him some
says
voters.
he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let
You
me
should
tell
all
something.
check
It doesn't
out
matter,
at Stan
because if
Greenberg's
we get
tweets
the
about his
votes,
focus
it's
group.
going to be all
Trump's
over.
shtick
He's gonna
isn't
go.
going over
He
so
can't
well.
stay in power. It won't happen. It won't happen.
Oh,
So
well,
vote.
focus groups.
Just
We all
make
know
sure
how
you
scientific
understand
those are.
you have it in
Hey,
your
check out
control
dog
to
rates. I think
determine
we could all
what
use a
this
little of
country's
this right
gonna
now.
look like the
These
next
two
4
pictures.
years.
This is who
Is it
America.
gonna
What's
change
America's
or
going to
you
look
get
like in the
4
next
more
4
years of
years?
these
Is these
lies?
two guys. Just a
President,
glitching
2
old
minutes.
senile
So,
man brain
when I
falling
listen
out
to
of his
Joe
ears.
talking about a transition,
A meat puppet.
there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election, and if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my
Shit, if they start
campaign.
talking about
They started
Obama,
from
he
the
might
day
actually
I
start
won,
saying
and even
specific
before I
things,
won.
because
From
that's
the
the only
day I
thing he
came
knows
back
Oh
to
my
about.
the
God, I would
House
love it if
legislature,
we get to do
they
Obamagate.
were a disaster. They were a
Talk about
disgrace to our
nothing.
country, and we've caught
I
them.
want to hear
We've
about
got
Nellie
it all.
Orr right
We've got
fucking
it all
now.
on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the
got
idea
them
for the
all.
Logan Act against General Flynn.
Yes,
You've
talk
got to
about
take a
the
look at
left.
that
Yes.
because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting
Malarkey
in the office.
is
He knew about
rising.
it too. So don't
Hey,
tell me
thanks for
about
the
a free
sub, Lord
transition.
Chromatic.
As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name
Oh,
Trump.
don't complain to
just
me
the
about
other day
getting
in
scammed
a
in
waste
chat.
paper
I think you
basket.
double down.
They're being sent all over the place.
made up.
They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They
Thanks for
sent
the
out
sub,
1,000
Dr.
ballots.
Noel.
Everybody got 2 ballots.
Everyone
This
who
is
didn't
going to be
receive
a
a
fraud
ballot,
like you've never
they
seen.
were cursed
The
by
other
a
thing,
witch.
It's nice on November 3rd. You're watching.
Hey, so
and
Trump's
you see
giving
who
every
won
old
the
person
election.
a $200
And I think we're gonna
card
do
to buy
well
whatever
because
drugs they
people are
want.
really happy with the job we've done. But you know what?
This
we won't know. We
gift
might
card,
not
the
know
Trump
for
card
months
from your government, you
because
can
these
use it at
ballots are
Bass
going to
Pro
be all over.
Shops,
Take a
Golden
look at what happened in
on
Maryland.
the
Take a
road
look at what
set.
happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be
it would be
won
so
or lost for
cool
that. They're losing
if they
30
could even
and
like
40%.
gesture at it.
It's a fraud, and
Felix
it's a
isn't
shame.
here, but he had a
And
tweet
can you
that is
imagine
pretty
where they
perfect.
say,
He said, "This is
you have
season
to have
3
your
versus
ballot in
season
by
6
November
Junior
10th.
Soprano."
November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election. In theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that,
Sir,
all run by
2 minutes
Democrats.
is 2 minutes.
All run by Democrats. It's
President
a
Trump,
It's a rigged election.
you're going to be able to continue.
What if they
You
both
have been
just died
charging
right
for
now?
months that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster.
What's going to come after
You say
politics,
it's rigged,
guys?
That it's going to lead to fraud.
What's going to be
But
after
in
politics? What do you
2018,
think it's
in the
going to
last
be?
midterm
What are we
election,
going to get into?
31
So, like,
million people
the circus
voted
arts.
Mail-in voting.
It's gonna come back.
That was
This collapsing space, where are we going to fill it with? Like where are we going to put that anime? Where are we going to put our Orgo?
I see the correct answer in the chat, and that's anime.
What are you going to do?
Oh God! Yeah, you know what? Probably correct. Probably
no
correct.
way. I'm drugs and religion are going to make a comeback.
Yeah,
that's my. I believe very firmly.
It's going to be a new form of queerness
in terms of the election itself, but for the ballots, I think so, because what's happening is incredible. I just heard. I read today where at least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were invalidated. They take
no, a new form, not the boring homework
There
form.
are millions of ballots going out
What you do is you go and vote. You do a solicited ballot, and that's okay.
What the fuck is a solicited ballot?
For those of you who are voting, are you guys going to vote in person or by mail?
Like they
used to in the
millions of
you need to do, Chris, a solicited ballot.
I'm going to get the ballot and see if it hasn't fucked up, which it probably
They have mailmen.
I'm going in person.
Did you see what's going on?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Getting the mailmen selling the ballots. They're being sold. They're being dumped in rivers. This is a horrible thing for our country. This is not going to end well. This is not going to
I'll go in person because the only reason I do it is because I enjoy going to vote. Like go to vote.
5, including 2
I do.
Oh, well, I mean,
the thing is, solicit the ballot, it's sent to you.
The thing is, Amber,
to your home.
I don't need the sticker
What we're saying is, that it has to be a postmark.
I have an I voted jewel pin.
By
so
election day.
If
it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted. He's just afraid of
honestly, the best part of
You're
voting
wrong.
is
You're
feeling
wrong.
like you're participating in a civic
Vice
institution
President Biden,
of some kind, which we basically don't have other than the
Vice President Biden, the biggest
completely
years with mail-in voting.
I go to the voting booth because it conjures images of like the town from Stand By Me, you know?
Sizable numbers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots.
Like that's what I want to go back to.
Because they have not been
it's
properly
entirely
filled out,
like
or
it's
there is
about
some
like
other
I'm living out of
irregularity, or
fantasy
they
when I
missed
go.
the deadline.
Yeah,
So the question I
why
have
not
is,
embrace it?
are
Lean
you
into it.
concerned
Have fun.
Hey, friends,
that
here's
the
a little New
Supreme
York
Court
joke
with a
for you.
Justice Barrett
I like voting, but
will
I hate that
settle
we have
any
to do it on the
dispute?
street.
I'm concerned that any court would settle this, because here's the deal. When you file, when you get a ballot, and you fill it out.
I think
you're supposed to have an
if they do
affidavit.
another one of
You
these
know,
debates, we think we got to do it. Here's the day. Here's the deal counter.
You should be able to, if in fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out. That's sufficient to be able to count the ballot because someone made
Who's
a mistake
moderating the next
and
one?
not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for. Say it's you. That is totally
I have a more
legitimate.
interesting question.
All right.
I think.
Excuse me,
when you have 80 million ballots,
I have a final
sitting
question.
and swamping the system, you know it can't be
Doesn't
done.
matter.
You know it can't, and all
Doesn't matter.
right.
So now,
What vote?
gentlemen, in the final question is, in 8 states, we can keep talking.
And I don't know if
In
all
8
of
states,
the
election
Right, it's
workers
symbolic,
are
yes.
prohibited
Well,
currently by
it
law.
is
8
symbolic, but I do
states
like symbols.
from even beginning
Oh,
the
yes.
process.
No. That's the thing. I say it's
take them out of the
I say it's
envelopes
symbolic. I
and
prove that it's
flatten them
symbolic.
until
But
election
I'm
day.
also
That
someone who
means that
respects
it's
symbols.
likely, because there's going to be a
well,
huge
by not
increase
voting
in
at
mail-in
this time is
balloting,
also
that we are not going to know
And
on
so it's
election
not.
night who the winner is, that it could
Whatever-
be
no,
days,
whatever you
it
do
could
is
be
symbolic.
weeks,
Could be months.
until we find out who the new president is. So
Basic semiotics,
first for you,
people.
sir, finally for the vice president, I hope neither of you will
know,
interrupt
I
the other.
voted for
Will you
Bernie,
urge your supporters
even though
to
he
stay
had
calm
left,
during
and that was
this
wrong.
extended period, not to engage
But
in
I wonder
any
if I
civil
would have a
unrest?
different
And will you
symbolic vote
pledge
if I
tonight
still live
that you will not declare
in a different
victory
place?
You
until
might get
the
guilted
election has
for
been
all this shit.
independently
Oh,
certified?
I'm not easily guilted.
President Trump, you
I'm
go first.
urging my
that's
supporters to
true.
go into the polls and
very
watch
strict
very
number.
carefully,
Yeah.
because that's what has to happen.
There he
I'm
is. He's
urging
telling
them
his
to
followers.
do it. As you know, today there was a
Wait.
big problem.
Telling
In
his followers
Philadelphia,
to
they
go
went in to
challenge
watch.
people in
They're called
polls.
poll
So
watchers.
he
It's a
is
very safe,
telling
very
his
nice
most
thing.
insane
They were
followers
thrown
to
out.
show up
They
with
weren't allowed
guns
to
at
watch.
polling places.
You know why? Because
this going
bad
into
things
overtime?
happen in Philadelphia.
This is
Bad
the last
things.
question, Virgil.
And I am urging, I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair
You're urging
election,
them what?
I am 100%
Man, I'm
on
feeling
board.
revved
But if
up.
I
I'm
see
excited to play
tens of
Counter-Strike
thousands
after
of
this.
ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell
what-
you
what
what,
does that mean?
from a
You wanna
common
listen to
sense,
Does that mean
I'll
you're
tell
gonna
you what
get
it
people
means.
to take to
It
the
means you
street?
have a fraudulent election. You're
And what are
sending
you
out
gonna do?
80
And
million
what will you
ballots.
do
They're
about that?
not
panel?
equipped to. These people aren't equipped to handle it. Number one. Number two, they
Yeah,
cheat.
yeah, but
They
you
cheat.
have-
Hey, they found ballots
I
in a
haven't-
waste paper basket 3 days ago. and they all had the name military ballots. They were military. They all had the name Trump on them.
Vice President
you think
Biden,
that's good?
Vice President Biden, final question for you. Will you...
Yeah, I don't think she has to do that. I don't think he has to worry about keeping people calm on behalf of Joe Biden.
Not to declare victory until the election is independently certified.
Yes, and here's the deal. It counts the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until Election Day. And if there's thousands of ballots,
it's just two old guys standing at a urinal waiting to piss.
They've been voting.
Their fucking prostates are the size of volleyballs. They're screaming at their dicks to let out a single trickle of urine.
Why is it for them?
And
The first one,
a little comes, a little gets out, but they know they gotta wait.
No one has established at all.
The first one to fill a fimple becomes president.
Fraud related to mail-in ballots. That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established.
Between the two of them, which one do you think? I'm assuming both of them have at one point or another done it. But which do you think was the first to wear an adult
diaper? He has no idea
diaper?
what he's talking about. Here's the deal.
Trump.
The fact is, I will accept it, and he will too. You know why? Because once the winner is declared after all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted, that'll be the end.
Yeah,
of it.
Trump.
I agree. That'll be
It's
the
the
end.
brain that goes.
And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome.
It was already a mixed
And I'll
up
be a
brain, and God
president
knows
not
what
just for
pills
the
he's been on.
Democrats.
But,
I'll be a president
yeah.
for Democrats and Republicans.
He
And
looks
this
like he's
guy,
wearing a
I want
diaper.
to
We speculated on it.
Gentlemen,
Trump
will you
is-
say that's the end of
Trump
it?
is
This is the end of this debate.
Biden is wandering
We're going to leave
around
it there.
with open ballot.
To be
Okay, here's an
continued
interesting
as-
question.
In more
Here's an
debates
interesting
as we
question. Which
go
one
on.
has had
President
sex
Trump,
more
Vice President
times?
Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half.
Biden,
I
for
want
sure.
to thank you
Biden,
both
Biden.
for participating
100%.
in the first of two
Biden's
debates that you have
Biden
agreed to
likes
engage
fucking-
in. We
Trump
want to
does not
thank
like
Case
having
Western
sex.
Reserve
Trump does not like
University
having sex.
He's
and the Cleveland
anhedonic.
Clinic for hosting
Yes.
this
He
event. The
likes
next debate,
conquest,
sponsored
but
by
he
the
doesn't
Commission on
actually
Presidential
He likes being
Debates, will be
gross.
1
It's
week
wet.
from tomorrow,
Everything's
October
wet.
7th, at the University
He likes
of
being
Utah
thought of as a sex
in
habit.
Salt Lake City. The two
Yeah.
vice presidential
Biden
nominees,
had-
Vice President
had
Mike Pence and
notches
Senator
on the
Kamala
bed.
Harris, will debate at 9
Biden
p.m.
gets
Eastern
in
that
it.
night. We hope you watch.
Biden gets in
Until
it.
then, thank you.
Biden eats
And good night.
pussy.
Well, that was presidential debate number one.
Left his dentures in more than a few women's nether regions.
A loud 90 minutes of shouting.
A loud kind of debate.
They just yelled at each other the whole time.
That rocked.
None of them had any
That kicked
like
ass.
information. None of them had. They didn't even have like those canned statistics that they often pull out, like to like start an argument with. They challenge each other to. Would challenge each other to answer a question, and then you could see that they weren't wondering, "Oh no, how should I answer this question?" They were like, "What question are they asking me?" That's how far they were from responding to the questions in front of them. It's
All right.
amazing.
All right, round the horn real
Once.
quick. Is this Virgil ready to be on screen?
I'm on. I turned on my camera.
Okay, great. Give me a second to
Okay,
Folks,
Virgil
once
can
ag-
never be witnessed.
Folks, once again, the winner is Dudes Rock.
They
For the
do.
15th year in a row.
All right, around the horn. Let's go. Why not? Starting with Virgil. Who is the winner of the first 2020 presidential debate?
Who's the winner?
All right.
Prepare your answer, Matt, because it's coming to you soon.
People. I'll tell you, the American people.
It will be going to Matt. I will say that the winner is Biden simply because this was so inscrutable that hasn't really changed anything whatsoever. And of course, continued stasis will benefit Biden. I am going to sign off. Before I do, of course, we've been goofing around all night, but I do want to give a warm happy birthday to my wonderful friend and colleague, a friend who obviously knows so much about military history, Lord Horatio Nelson, British naval hero. No, Matt Christman, we love you, Matt. Happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, man.
And happy birthday to everyone else in the chat. Signing off. I will see you next week for the
Happy
next
birthday,
goddamn one of these fuckers.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
No, the winner was the American people.
Let's go specifically to Noah. Winners and losers.
I would say. I mean, like, I don't think that like this is like I can't parse like any like where one begins and one
Winners
ends,
and losers, Matt. Or
like
no,
I think
It's a barbaric yawp. It's just people screaming. It's screaming. It's two old men screaming, which means that if Biden was winning before all the old men started screaming at each other, presumably that means that he's still leading after the men are screaming at each other.
Is it my turn?
Yes, winners and losers. Amber.
Okay, so I think technically this was like an Oberlin lesbian soccer game where they don't keep score and no one wins and no one loses. However, no matter what happens, and I'm not a Maoist, I don't believe that the world is a zero-sum game and America has to collapse for the third world to rise. But it couldn't hurt. So the potential winners here are the third world.
Yes, I mean, if you're seeing this from anywhere else in the world, you're seeing a giant dinner bell just ringing. Come and get it.
Thank God. Thank God.
Carve us up. Carve us up.
Yeah.
Like at the Berlin Conference for America. Please do it.
Look at this.
Scramble for America.
It didn't have to happen this way, but if this is the way it's going to happen, you know what? There could be a silver lining.
Personally, I'm going to go with Trump. I think Biden got kind of domed the entire night.
He definitely got domed, but like at this point, people who like that already like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he's over at this point with his thing where he just yells at everybody and ignores everybody in his.
No, I'm talking about myself personally, who I feel is the. I don't care about anybody else watching this. This is a pure.
Okay, now the question's off. Good. We can think about it in terms of just pure aesthetic preferences.
Pure aesthetic heuristic.
Trump. It's
especially considering all the reports I saw. But look, if I'm a real watcher of this event, all the reports I saw beforehand that Biden was doing all this prep, that he was coming in hot and ready, and that Trump was doing nothing but playing golf and tweeting about earphones. It looked like Biden was no match for his thing because all Trump does is just talk over people. So on a pure level of my assessment of winners and losers, Trump won.
Yeah,
he just does his thing.
I'll tell you what Biden really lost it for me was if there's going to be nothing to this but grandstanding and yelling and getting a moment, I'll be remembered for more than 2 seconds afterwards, which is hard enough, obviously. How do you not have just a grandstanding moment to defend your own fucking son?
Exactly.
He couldn't manage more than just my son. He's a good boy. He's a fine boy. He's nice. He didn't do. He could have done the whole thing of my son died. My son who's I pulled him out of the wreckage of the car.
That's supposed to be his whole fucking thing.
How fucking dare you? And just hey, how about this? Get off of your fucking the X on the floor and come towards him a little bit. Defend your family, you fucking coward.
Honestly, it was sort of. I forgot about this, but Biden's never really had to campaign, and so he didn't.
The only other times he's tried to campaign, the only other times he had to campaign, he ate shit.
Yeah, because you know what? He's a little bit like another Democratic presidential hopeful we all know and remember. A little bit like a girl boss who believes that she's owed it. And we all saw how that fucking turned out.
And both of them are where they were. They were both put in a position to run against Trump. One of them to lose to him amazingly, and another one to be running way closer than he fucking should by one man.
I mean,
and you know what?
Trumbo.
Okay, and you know what too is that again, we all know it's ridiculous to point out hypocrisy, but I think you can do one of two things. You can either believe that people deserve certain things, or they don't. So. Hillary was the, look, everyone gets a pony is not realistic. And Biden was the millennials are entitled. But these are the most entitled people in the world. And it's, I don't expect them to have self-awareness, but I expect them to at least be able to adapt in a way that appears consistent to a potential voter base, But they love to lose. They love losing so much.
But one thing that I think is still worth noting is that it's we came into this, I think, for the most part, at least, when Chris and I were talking about it, that we sort of acknowledge that the debate's not going to change anything. It's hard to, but this could shape anybody, move the needle for anybody in any meaningful direction. And that said, it's like on top of like underneath that are like, you know, like the fundamentals of the race or whatever, and what we know about the like race as it is right now, and like the polling that's come out, and like recently, it's still looking like, even in spite of like however badly Biden did tonight, or like seemed like he did tonight, like it's still probably not going to have any relationship to what the outcome is in November. And as it stands right now, he's like, you know,
this was a TV show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like he'll probably win. But like, you know, we all know probably is a word that's doing a lot of fucking work there, as we learned. Yeah.
Well, you know what else he's doing? Like Hillary is not having any ground game in Michigan, so can't wait. Can't wait. Who knows? Literally, who knows? I'm not going to waste my energy and get gray hair trying to figure it out.
I'm going to do...
This is all on Barf Sacco Crumbo. This is all on Obama. 100%. He picked... It's like, this motherfucker, he cares enough to, at the last minute, intervene to get Biden in there as the nominee, even though he was on record with all these motherfuckers saying that he was a fucking... a cookie shy of a sack lunch. The reason 500 people ran in 2020 was because he was out there pouring piss in people's ear about how Biden didn't have it anymore. Yeah. And then at the last minute, he desperately had to go in and rescue him because, oh no, it turns out my stupid fucking brand name is enough to get this senile, ridiculous catastrophe of a human being across the finish line. And well, if it's him or Bernie, then I'll take him. That's because he picked him in the first place to be his VP, because he didn't give a shit.
And not even his brand name.
Well, it was all
an associated brand name.
But like the whole idea, like when he picked Biden,
it still gets Brian in that like rubbed off.
And the whole idea, like it was a short-term like political solution, because the discourse around that pick was that Obama needed to pick somebody who was senior, who could have that stuff rub off on him, but who also could signal to the party establishment that, like, listen, just because I beat Hillary doesn't mean that I'm, like, you know, a crazy radical.
But it didn't have to be Biden.
I know. It's a testament. It's a testament to Barf Sack's crumbliness that, like.
Yeah.
Real quick,
chat. It could have been somebody who had a competitive race that they didn't eat shit in at the national level, in a state bigger than a fucking postage stamp in the last 40 years, who also wasn't an old man, who the only thing anybody knew was that he was a gas bag who walked way past his ability to understand what the fuck he was even saying. It means he was somebody that was never going to be taken seriously. He was always going to be an ornament, which means, okay, who's taking over after fucking you leave, asshole? Don't think the vice president is usually a pretty fucking integral person? No, it's fine. It's fine. It could just be this dude. Because they didn't give a shit.
Great.
I mean, there's also the thing is that Biden didn't run in 2016. Like, he did. Right. And, like, so there was, you know, I think, Biden, you know, Obama made the correct call that he would be able to talk Biden out of running in 2016. It just turned out that Obama's judgment was then to like help throw his weight behind the only person perhaps less able to win a national election. And like, you know, that's like, so we're actually in the worst possible scenario, because we had the shitty candidate then and we're stuck with another shitty candidate now. It's great. I love it.
The worst option in every moment. The worst option. Well, the thing is, you got to do that, because if you don't do that, you might have the actual contested primary with the issues and the platform and the agenda of the Democratic Party actually up for debate.
Politics?
Think about all of it. Like, just think about everything. Think about like Kamala Harris like supporting Medicare for all, everybody coming around on the Green New Deal, and all these moments that were like supposedly these pivot points in the primary, and how all of that, now that we have Biden, means nothing. They're not going to talk about it. They're going to bury it, and they're going to deny having ever been associated with it.
They were all.
Yeah, hop in real quick and say if anybody in this chat has music video requests, send them to me on Twitter, and I'll throw them on, because it's easier for me to see them on Twitter. Just at me. Go on, guys.
What video is this?
This is Enigma's Return to Innocence. I'm sticking with Pure Moods Volume 1 right now.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Oh, November Rain. Absolutely. There we go.
Could you send me the link or something? Because I would like a Pure Mood.
Yeah.
I need a mood. I'm a little up right now.
I'll send you the Watch Together link real quick, but keep going.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was also going to say, not to disrupt this Obama Fest, but I would also say winners and losers for tonight. Winners, the cops, both candidates.
Oh yeah, we love our cops.
We
both
candidates
law enforcement.
Love our cops. Losers, the environment.
Yeah, fuck
Oh, yeah.
off. Sorry, guys. Turns out that the entire western United States has to burn to a cinder, and we all have to die in a hellscape nothingness because there's too many computers in your cars these days. Too many beep bops in the computer box on your car. That's why we can't have. That's why we're all going to choke to death on clouds of fucking CO2 emissions.
Look, I'm not saying it's.
COVID also. We got to give a shout out to COVID. COVID's going to be very happy about this.
Oh yeah, that was one thing. The one part of the debate that like really stuck out to me at the beginning was like when they were like trading blame for like the lockdown and stuff, and it was just like neither of them could articulate like anything resembling a coherent thought about how like the lockdown was like an important and good thing that we did. It was like, no, it's your fault. No, it's like it was such a like.
Well, they can't decide whether they want to be like, look, we have to normalize the mask because the mask is good. We love the mask. The gun is my father. Like, they can't decide if they want to do that or say like, hey, you know how this actually sucks? There's a reason for it. Because the thing is, they have to admit that there's a problem, and they have to admit that the only way to have mitigated it would have been to do something early that we had absolutely no ability to do because we're a shitty, disorganized country. So they keep trying to be like, I love the corona. The corona is my god. But then simultaneously being like, it's his fault. But you can't fucking do both ways.
Our federal system, you gotta love it. It means that no one can ever take responsibility for anything. So that means why do we even have these stupid fucking elections? If there's no points where we can say this issue is the responsibility of X or Y, and then we can adjudicate those points, then what the fuck are we even doing here?
And then something strange happened. I mean, this is just like hypernormalization shit. Like that this is where it is like, this is like, you can absolutely like make like the vulgar Adam Curtis theory, and it applies 100% correctly. And it's that like, you know, we have created like a fake reality and like a fake system and like a fake discussion about what our, you know, like about how politics works in this country. And like, we rather participate in that. And what we saw tonight was like this insane limp imitation of that. Like every 4 years, we're really, really good at like, you know, suspending disbelief and doing all that shit.
Critical race theory.
It's just like, what the fuck?
What are you talking about?
Like, yeah.
That's because they love arguing about culture shit, and people get mad at the woke people for the critical race theory, and I annoy by them too. But in this specific instance, it's because Trump took advantage of the ambient cultural stuff to ban critical race theory from any like federal training. Which honestly, it's like Adam D'Angelo got paid by the Coast Guard to do racial awareness training. So he's basically saying, "Hey, don't do that." And honestly, if Robert D'Angelo gets less of a federal paycheck out of it, I don't care.
You know what it
just matters.
But it's a result, though. It's the idea that like politics has been foreclosed upon. The only thing that we can do is this. That's all we have. Which is also why the Dave and Buster's vote will actually be significant.
I mean, but but when he says the critical race theory thing, I don't even think that there's like an idea behind it. It's like literally like they are words that you can so clearly see were put there by somebody next to him, and that it's just like the entire purpose of it isn't even to get at like the fucking like woke grifters or like Robin DiAngelo types. It's to get at like, you know, like the basis of the attack is to get at like people who are like I don't know, anybody like you know, like defund police people, like normal thinking people everywhere, whatever.
No, I don't think it's that at all. I think it's actually to be like, hey, you know those assholes that like have completely have said that like there is a moral means testing to being like considered worthy of anything approaching a good life. I mean, I think it's tapping into like a legitimate resentment that has arrived at disgusting conclusions, and it's like, well, of course that's going to work because there's no fucking alternative. It's not like any of the people, you know, who have been the champions of this shit have ever been like, I don't know, offered anyone anything. They've never offered anyone a fucking welfare state or anything. So of course you're going to resent someone who has no carrot, only stick. And that's been the Democratic Party for the last how many years?
At least as long as any of us have been alive.
I don't know about the stick. I don't think anybody knows about nobody. I don't think people really connect Joe Biden to having to feel bad about being white if they're not on the internet already.
No, but they associate the party with it, and that's a part of Trump.
I don't really think that's true.
Yeah.
I don't think it's true. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. There's a hole at the center. And so if you're talking about critical race theory in any capacity, it's because the center is empty. There's nothing there. There's nothing to the Democratic Party. So you can just turn it into anything. Because there's no way to defend against that, because what are you defending it with? Look at Biden today. Every time, all he could just do is go, come on, man. Because there's nothing to anything. There's nothing to the corona response. There's nothing. How the hell are you supposed to make sense of his attitude towards racism and police brutality, which just clearly trying to appeal to everyone and not get yelled at, and healthcare with his awful split the baby approach, or I don't want the Green New Deal, I want the Biden deal, and I want to get rid of emissions except for fracking. It's absolutely empty. There's nothing to it.
I mean, I do think that one part of it is just that it's there's no. It's what feels, I guess, a little bit crazy, even in this context, is that it's there's not even an attempt, or there's not even a coherent idea. I just, when I was watching I guess the Biden stuff, it felt or at least his answers on healthcare and things like that, it just felt that there wasn't even a gesture at trying to say this is what I'll do, this is what it'll look like for people.
Yeah,
and part of that I accept.
Anti-Trump candidate. Remember how well that worked out last time?
Exactly, but part of it I also grant is that because Trump kept interrupting him, which again is because of Biden's weak disposition, to put it gently, and
genetic bitch,
and it's just. But even in those moments, there's not people all of a sudden have a policy vernacular they've never had before. The $1,200 checks, free income replacement. There's all these ideas that people just experience to know how much they rock.
None of them neither of them will talk about that.
And we can't even pretend.
Here's
think about all the libertarians. Think about all those libertarians with pencils up their assholes who are always oh, politicians try and get voters to win with the free stuff and giveaways. And it's just no, it's actually the opposite.
Give me a fucking bottle of whiskey, motherfucker.
Which is why I don't buy I don't think there's going to be some right populist realignment, because my God, he's 3 months away from the election. Why isn't he offering anybody anything? Why isn't he talking checks? Why isn't he talking that?
Right.
If that's the Republican Party is hair and
because
where's the
those people don't have any power, don't have enough power anyway in the right wing and among movement conservatives.
On Twitter, it's not real.
I mean, there's a real, and it's frustrating because it's just if that contingent doesn't exist, then what the fuck do the Democrats have to lose? You know what I mean? It's there's no point of negotiation. There's no anything. It's just but instead they'd rather just retreat.
I do want to say
it's a load-bearing thing now. They can't start giving people money because debt and lack of money it's the electrode up the asshole of every American. We're all we're all in the fucking Skinner boxes, and our amount of debt and our fucking rent, and that shit it keeps us on the goddamn treadmill.
Okay, but I do want to go back briefly to the kind of culture war stuff, the critical race theory stuff. I think the culture war is the politics of the lumpen, because it's a substitute for people who have just foreclosed upon the idea of actual politics. Nonetheless, I do think the way that politics have at least played out on the kind of media scale emphasize this kind of small number of highly online kind of lumpen needs, who are the people who are obsessed with shit like critical race theory. So he's bringing it up because he's playing to who he believes are his base. When in fact, I'm not saying those people weren't a factor. They totally were. God knows there's some meats in there. But in many ways, I think he's making the same mistake that Democrats made, where he's like, I have to appeal to my online army. If I win the online army, I'll be fine. It's like, that's like 12 people who post 24/7. So,
I mean, I think that there is getting to a point where, because of Facebook specifically, you are getting a kind of a convergence point between like all the most like obscure Q-style conspiracy shit and just like the ambient psychology of the average Republican voter.
Right. I think that there's a huge gap there in the middle, though, and that ignores the majority of people that are just like fucking Skidoo salesmen, you know, who are still the larger portion of Trump's base.
He is talking to like the actual like I'd say at this point he's talking to the people who make up like the center of gravity of his base. But that's just the problem, is that for him, I don't think that that's enough at this point. Like the reason Biden might win the thing is because saying, hey, you know, I'm better than Trump didn't work for Hillary, but now it might work because he's been president for 4 years and 500,000 people are going to fucking die, you know? And unless you're already on his team, you don't already process all that as not his fault, you know?
On the
team.
I have a theory, and I want to know
the Chinese and whatever the hell.
I also want to know what you guys think of this theory. So I'm hoping, because I want the libs to have a year of rest and relaxation. I want them to just anesthetize themselves with like white wine and benzos for 6 months, so the rest of us can get back to actual politics.
They all need to go out to one of those like mid 19th century resorts where they get swaddled in blankets and put out on a windy moor to like recover from like fainting sickness.
Or you know what, medically induced coma, whatever. They need to fucking chill out. So I do, for that reason in particular, want Biden to win. Nonetheless, I am made nervous, particularly by this, not necessarily because I think people are going to watch this and make an opinion, but because it's like, wow, if this is any kind of a metric for the way Biden is campaigning in other places, it seems like he's doing exactly what Hillary did, just being smug and entitled, being like, I deserve this. But my one like Hail Mary is that there might be for the love of God, we have to shut the fucking hysterical libs up vote that could push him over the edge. Please give me some hope, because I really think everyone needs to fucking calm down, and I can't, because people don't like chaos. I mean, historically speaking, like there's a reason why things have to get incredibly bad before people revolt. So I think
the funniest thing that might just happen is Biden just wins kind of like anticlimactically, because people are just like, this is just too much. This is too loud.
I think it's
too loud. It's too loud. Jesus Christ, yeah.
I do think that if Biden, like, one of the things that'll be really interesting to see, like, you know, if Biden wins and all of a sudden he does have to talk about like what his policy agenda is and everything, like just like, I mean, it's gonna be like they're gonna have to do so much, like I mean, they're obviously gonna like punt on a lot of it and they're gonna hide him as much as possible, and they're gonna do like they just did with the campaign. But just like think about it, like they're gonna have to do every, like, you know, like all the stuff that they're not talking about now, they're gonna have to pretend to do in a bit, and they're gonna have to like get up to speed on like COVID shit, and it's gonna be.
What is Biden's COVID policy? We're all assured that it's going to be better.
It's that it's bad, but also it's good, and also.
And also that it's Donald Trump's lockdown, but also lockdowns are good, and you know, Dr. Fauci, that fella, he's swarthy, but he's good, you know.
When I imagine the Biden presidency, I see him behind a crimson veil on a throne of skulls. He's basically the Crimson King from the Dark Tower series. This jabbering maniac, and then just a bunch of half-human, half-animal ferret creature courtiers running around him,
skittering around,
figure out just like where to like send their resume, where to strip out pieces of value in X, Y, and Z pieces of privatization, where we can like get a little bit of a margin on X, Y, and Z to squeeze a little bit of more profit out of Q, R, and S in order to like just leverage our buyout until we can all just check out of this thing we call civilization.
Sure. I think he will mostly serve the purpose of the bewitched king of Rohan. You know.
Oh yeah. One second. Thanks for all your requests, chat. Keep it coming on the Twitch. I've got like 6 songs queued up, but I'll be right back. You guys keep going. Bewitched King of Rohan. With worm tongue in his ear.
Yes, many worm tongues. There's going to be many worm tongues. Except they all went to Bard. They all went to Bard. Yeah.
Yes. No, it's gonna be 500 grim tongues from Bard and fucking George Washington, all hissing into each other's ear.
And he's just gonna be.
And all it is really going to be about is who's going to end up with a better resume at the end of it. Who's going to be able to get a better job at a hedge fund and be able to like get.
That's all they believe in.
I mean, and like
all they believe in.
And there's it's not even like, I don't think it's like cynical, because I think I don't think it, because we look at what just happened with the last iteration of these people in the Obama administration, and that's literally exactly what happened. They started media companies, they became lobbyists, they became quote unquote strategic consultants. They cashed the fuck in a lot of ways. I think that there's sort of it's, the Justice Department's a fucking revolving door. Obama's SEC chair is now the managing partner at Debevoise and Plimpton, one of the ritziest white shoe law firms in Manhattan. I just think that it's we know how this will go. We know how this will go. It's I want to say why should we even be talking about it, but then that would sort of call into question.
Because what else are you gonna do? because I love talking shit with my buddies, man. I love hanging out with my friends online, you know?
Yeah, it's just so hard knowing everything that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a curse, really.
Yeah, it's just so weighty on our shoulders.
And smart and clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do though. That is my.
Oh, this is a good poll. This is a good poll. CBS News poll. How did the debate make you feel? Debate watchers. 69% annoyed, 31% entertained, 19% pessimistic, 17% informed. I want to meet those 17%. I want to know what drugs they have.
People.
Oh, Twitch chat is going crazy over 69%.
Nice.
Yeah.
69%. The American people are annoyed.
Yeah.
69% annoyed.
And you know what? That might be good for us because, again, there might be a shut the fuck up.
I think that's an accurate description. We are all very annoyed right now.
Yeah, it's an irritating time.
Oh.
How do?
What's up?
Yo, what's this woman singing? I don't understand any of this.
All right, I'm gonna have another glass of white wine because that's the point I am in my life.
Oh, you're playing all my favorite shit tonight. That debate stunk ass.
No, it was so much fun, man. It was so stupid. Alex Nichols is with us.
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
Alex Nichols.
I'm gonna go out and try.
I think that's clipping.
Hey, yeah, but we can hear you.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear anything.
Well, we can hear you now.
You're back.
What's going on, everybody?
That some person just mentioned Joe Rogan in the chat, and while I used to think that the idea of the Joe Rogan debate was good, I couldn't imagine Joe Rogan actually moderating.
Oh, he wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yeah.
No.
This cannot be moderated. You just need to have them go in a room. You just need to have them in a room, close the door, and have the two of them just talk to each other for an hour and film it. That's what we should do. And then whatever comes out of that, that's the conversation, and that's the debate.
Yeah.
You guys, no discussion beforehand, no subjects, nothing. They just go in a room, close the doors, no one else in the room. Cameras are remotely operated, and they just talk to each other. It's the only way they can do this. It's like this whole, pretending that there's anything to this anymore. Pretending that we're trying to elicit information from people. Pretending that these people represent, an agenda that they understand and are going to carry out. They're responsible for in some way. It's absurd.
Well, this is also why I'm skeptical of any poll and whatever it says about anyone saying I want to be, I felt informed, or I felt this, or I felt that. Like, that is a massive economy too. Like, it's all just, anytime you think you're being too materialist, you're not being materialist enough. Like, I don't. Sorry,
if it's a bunch of two demented old men, then it should just be two demented old men. Get rid of the idea that the press means anything, that these jobs mean anything. Because they don't. They're just two old men who stand in for your own irascible personality. This is all just like a personality conflict. Let them fight in the terrestrial plane for all of us, like robot jocks. And then the rest of us just don't do anything. We just watch them fight, and then we don't act like, oh, what do they know? One of them has a better COVID response. One of them, I think Trump had a much more jobs first energy plan. They don't know. They have no idea what they're talking about. Just let them yell at each other then. So if you're going to realize, oh, these guys are just emotive symbols. They don't actually represent the structure of the government. And just let it be the thing it is and cut off the remainder. Cut off this bullshit. Stop making us ask them questions. Stop making us try to get them on like, oh, are you going to denounce this person? Or, hey, is it $2 trillion? $3 trillion? Who gives a shit? They don't know. Just let them yell at each other. And whoever does the better yelling job is the one you like more.
Yeah, it's a burping contest. Whoever burps the loudest.
Exactly. It's a burping contest. So get rid of everything that is friction from that. Get rid of Wallace. Wallace was the killjoy.
Oh, he was awful.
Yeah.
Fight, as the guy in the Godzilla movie says. Let them fucking fight.
I mean, that would be like, it's funny because it's like, I think like the let them fight thing is like that. Remember that like Aaron Sorkin ass West Wing debate one where there's just like, can we suspend the rules for a minute? Like that's the fantasy of let them fight, but in reality, let them fight is just like like it's the two series talking to one another.
Oh
like
God!
It's two Furbies that you face each other. But I do think it accelerated towards the end for me. I had higher standards for a shit show than Matt did, but it did pay off towards the end. Nonetheless, never mind. I don't know. Again, I look at my life and why we're talking about this. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
It's all very dark. We're in a dark place. We're all in a very dark place, and we're all very scared, and no one knows what to say about it.
How did we end up here? It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Oh.
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
And now we just gotta we're basically just like on the fly trying to present it to normalize it to ourselves and to each other and make sense of it. We don't all fall apart.
Because it is normal. And the idea that it's not is like the whole this is not normal. It's like, okay, well, no, it literally is by any literal definition. So you need to catch the fuck up and adjust, or you're gonna lose your mind.
Yeah. No, our brains are being destroyed. How are you supposed to maintain a coherent sense of self or reality in these surroundings?
On that note, I think I'm gonna tap out, guys.
I'm trying to scroll through Twitter and see if there's a snap reaction of who won or who didn't. But no, if you
who nutted,
who nutted,
thank you everyone for having me.
We all nutted for watching it.
I'll see you all later. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy. Anytime.
I was looking at the news coverage. New York Times says sharp personal attacks and name calling.
Oh,
hell yeah.
calling.
Do we have numbers?
Name calling.
Are there any instant polls of respondents saying who won the debate? 48-41. Yes. I see someone in the chat. CBS says that Biden at 48 to Trump at 41. Which would mean that Biden won.
Again, I don't believe any of these things have anything to do with anything.
None of us know anything. No one has any idea. It's all just trying to convince yourself that the world is still going to be there when you wake up. That's all we're doing.
and that we have metrics that are scientific enough to measure chaos, which we do not. We do not. That's why polling is, even when it's done honestly, which it almost never is, because there's a profit incentive behind certain results under any circumstances. Like, even under those conditions, like, we're not good at it. It doesn't, you can't measure. It's like trying to, you can't measure these things in a basic, like, yes or no poll. Like, this isn't going to give you the information you want. This isn't how people work. It's a qualitative, not a quantitative, like, field. Like,
because all the metrics are broken.
Yes.
You're saying, when you say, like, who won, who did this better than, it's all relative to things that don't mean anything anymore. Everything is collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that stuck out to me so much is how much of all of this stuff is around issues that are mostly cultural signifiers, down to things like the Green New Deal. I mean, you can debate policy differences between whether Joe Biden supports the Green New Deal or, like, what elements of the Green New Deal he supports or not, but it's really just, like, held out as a cultural signifier, you know?
I know. They don't even know what they mean. Like, if you sat Joe Biden down and asked him what is the Green New Deal, he couldn't tell you. Nothing more than Trump could tell you. And this is supposed to be the thing that's going to be determining whether or not we have a fucking human race in another 100 years.
I definitely know what's in it.
What's in it, Alex?
Mike's cutting out. Mike's cutting out. Sorry.
Did you guys see the thing about this is supposed to be another bombshell? They love bombshells that are they're not bombshells. They're not so much. They're not even fireworks. They're like, you know, those snakes. They kind of.
What kind of snakes?
Snakes, yeah.
The snake fireworks. Yeah.
And then they got a little.
They poop out some ash. They poop out ash.
Awful. That's the worst firework.
That's what the worst firework. That's what they think a bombshell is. But there was the one they said, like, Trump targeted black voters, which made it seem like, you know, there was like a red scope finder, like, on black people's foreheads. And what they actually described was there were negative campaign ads about, like, you know, the opposing candidates, which is called campaigning. So only Democrats, only liberals, by the way, would consider campaigning cheating.
That's one of the things that obviously other people have talked about this, but one of the things that has just been making me laugh so much recently is how the whole message of Democrats, the answer that Democrats give in any press conference, anything ever, is vote. But not vote Democrat. Vote. Not vote liberal. Just vote. Like, the Democrats can't even bring themselves to entice you to vote for their brand.
Also,
that is too radical.
Way to pass the buck for not appealing to black voters.
Yeah. It's
like they want to do the minimum. They want to be aware. Want everyone to be aware of them. They don't want anyone to have any negative feeling about them, like McDonald's or something. They want to just be this pleasant brand association.
Oh, hell yeah, The Fix.
Oh yeah, these are all.
There's some great album tracks off of this album.
What are we playing now?
The Fix, One Thing Leads to Another.
Oh yeah.
Great song.
By the way, fam, I'll take this episode or this moment to while we still have thousands of viewers. Surprisingly, thank you for everybody who's still tuning in. This Thursday at 9 over on twitch.tv/TheChrisWade, Molly and I will be doing a Woodstock 99 Power Hour.
What is this?
Thursday at 9. Anybody wants to join who's on the panel, please come on and hang out. We're going to be watching 60 one-minute clips of performances live from Woodstock 99 and having a drink for each one of them.
This movie is really This song is really good in the movie.
Oh, that horror movie?
Horror movie, yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Wait, what movie is it?
So good. It's like a little indie film, and it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
House of the Devil. House of the Devil. House of the Devil.
House of the Devil.
Yes, so good.
Well, anyway, if anybody likes this music video vibe, please check out our music video streams over on twitch.tv/thechriswade. But anyway, we're not talking about music videos. We're talking about the dang election.
I might do that.
Damn politics.
I might call in there for a bit, if you'll have me, because I do love not Woodstock 99.
I'm DMing Murder Brian right now because
I'm glad.
Because I need to invite him.
He was there.
He was there.
He was there. I would like to talk to him about it if we could do it together.
All right.
I would like to talk to him about it because I do have the theory that you and I have discussed about how Limp Bizkit brought about 9/11 through a demonic ritual at Woodstock 99.
It is the end of history. That it is literal. That it is that moment. That festival is the actual end of history.
It was like it was all the bored frat guys at the end of history just willing the Twin Towers to explode so that this whole edifice could just collapse on our heads.
But just to do a little more, because I'm going to sign this whole thing off in about 7 minutes, 11:30. We have 3 more of these things. We have a debate between Kamala and Mike Pence.
No!
Debate between Kamala and Mike Pence, and then 2 more Trump-Biden debates. What the fuck do we think we're going to see from any of those?
Do I hear the damn Joker?
Oh, God. Oh, unless they're going to just have them yell at each other in a room, I don't know what the point of this is. Why are we going to do this again? Who is going to take the job now? Look at what happened to Chris Wallace. He just got slapped around for 2 hours. Who's going to want to do that?
Yeah, but he loved it. He loved it because he's a little fucking piggy, isn't he?
That's true. You're right. They're all sick little piglets. They probably love that idea. But who wants to watch that? I don't want to watch it. I just want to watch them go to town. And the problem with that for the Democrats is Biden would lose because he doesn't, at the end of the day, he's more scared and more disoriented than Trump is, because Trump is more with it. More, he knows what day it is faster.
Right.
Ask him, what room he's in faster, and that is where it comes down to. We're literally talking about who should be the king of the world, the leader of the free world, between what tertiary dementia they have. Like, that's literally it. Like, are they remembering today, or are they remembering 50 years ago? That's it. So why are we trying to find out what their opinions are on issues? They don't have opinions on issues. They don't even know their grandchildren's names.
They don't know their own middle names.
I disagree. I think Joe Biden knows all his grandchildren's names. I think he takes it as a point of pride.
I bet he
does. No. I bet he calls them his first wife's name a lot, which my grandpa does to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Judith 90% of the time.
Calls Hunter Beau all the time, and it kills him. It kills him. Stab in the heart.
It doesn't mean he doesn't love me. He's just, Judith was a name he said for 20 years.
Is this WAP?
Yes, it is. There were a lot of requests of this earlier. This song rocks. This part of this video is incredibly stupid. Why is she here the entire time the song stops? She doesn't even have a verse. Give it up. But every other part of this is great.
It's nice when they bring a big cat in the
Happy
studio.
birthday, Matt. Guy mentally prepared for Kamala to eat
Megan
shit at the
video,
VE
but
event.
my computer is about to shut down because I'm not plugged in, so I think now is a good time to depart.
I'm gonna sign off at 11:30.
I had a lovely time with all of you. Thank you to all of our guests, and may God have mercy on our souls.
Yeah, we have another one of these coming up. As Chris Wallace said, in what? Bye, Amber. 8 days, next Wednesday.
Oh God.
Well, that one might be interesting. That's Pence versus Kamala, right?
Well, that's not going to be interesting. Oh no, you know why that'll be interesting? I'll tell you why that'll be interesting. Because after tonight, everyone's going to have to pretend what just happened didn't happen. Everyone's going to have to pretend they didn't just watch two obviously demented old men who are not aware of their surroundings have a frantic argument with one another, where neither of them could have been told you like where they were at any given moment in that room. I don't want to talk about that. So you get normal people like Kamala and Mike Pence, normal politicians, are going to make that the new normal level. It's like, all right, here we are. We got these guys now, and they're going to behave. And they are going to behave. Then we're going to all just sort of like subconsciously decide, actually, this is politics. This is the stuff we want. Here's the real engaging because after all, I mean, you know, it's more than just the person, isn't it? It's the whole policy or whatever. And that'll all be for the bubble pipe smoking online and the media people. But no one will be paying attention to it. It'll be incredibly boring to watch, but it'll be very, very deeply focused on, because it's going to be the only hope that this thing can sustain itself. Like, if you can't watch Trump and Biden debate and think that there's a future to this country, right? You have to imagine that there's something that comes beyond them, because these are terminal figures. And so you need a Pence to represent like a next continuum, and Harris to represent the next continuum. But that it's as much of a cope as anything else. It's as much of an illusion as the rest of it, to try to keep us from confronting the base, terrifying reality. That
Pence has been executed. You hear that?
All of them have been executed, and they're all actually clones and holograms. And none of this is actually happening. And this is the Matrix, and you're the Matrix, and I'm David Icke.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, see, the reason I think that one will be fun is because there's going to be so much more, in a meta level, cultural energy to be foisted on Kamala to be the Yas Queen owner of Mike Pence. Like, Mike Pence has almost zero cultural investment, you know?
Oh, it's interesting. He leads polls as the 2024 candidate for the Republicans. That's just because Trump has not done the job of anointing a successor. Because
it's the same with it's honestly the same with Biden and fucking Obama.
Because these are terminal empires. They lost their ability to govern. Like, literally, the structures are incapable of governing. The people who are supposed to be in the structures are literally physically incapable of governing. Everything is collapsing on itself. All distinctions are funneling into one another. It's not good.
No, now
I'm looking at these fine puppets, these British puppets. Oh God,
man, those guys were ugly.
Every spinning image puppet is actually significantly more attractive than the actual British person it was inspired by.
I see why everyone hated Phil Collins in the 80s if this is what he looks like. Jesus Christ.
It's funny that Phil Collins would allow such a hideous but accurate imagining of what he looks like in a music video. Well, anyway, when this video's over, I'm gonna sign off the stream for the night.
I'm gonna jump on and do some stuff, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Hang out with the boys.
Alex, can I hang out with you guys?
Yeah. You sure can, brother.
Well, I'm gonna sign off, but everybody who wants to continue having seeing Matt and Alex can go can hang out immediately after this. But it's been great doing all of this with you guys. Any final debate thoughts, Matt?
find people you love, and ask them what they want to do, and do the thing together with them. Stop paying attention to all this stuff. It's not good.
Because it doesn't
It's
go
not
anywhere.
good for you.
It
It
stinks.
doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, we're all doing this instead of confronting our condition. So, a little confronting of your condition. And I know I'm scared to do that too. We all have to. So the alternative is just driving yourself insane trying to find meaning in this.
Yes. When all it is just a freaking land of confusion, you know?
Land of freaking confusion. That's the one thing I wanted to ask you, Chris, before you go. Gabriel or Collins?
I mean, I gotta fucking go within the air tonight. I mean, that it's just it's simply one of the best bangers of all time. So Collins.
Collins over Gabriel, the official and introducing line.
Yeah, that is.
Genesis is that Collins greater than sign Gabriel. All right, I'm glad that we have.
They both offer a lot, but you know.
I don't know. Gabriel has an edge.
He has an edge. Well, we can
I'm
get
a
into
Collins
this later.
apologist most of the time.
Look, they're both great, but I have to go with Collins just purely for In the Edge Tonight, which I think is honestly one of the best like pop songs ever made.
I agree with that.
It's great. I love that.
And you know what? I really like I Can't Dance. That's a great song.
No, it isn't.
No jacket required. Wonderful album.
They're both big goofies. I honestly would say with the early Genesis stuff is more artistically better than either of their solo stuff, like all the prog stuff. But
They shouldn't have disappeared into their own assholes, is what you're saying.
yeah, well, I mean, prog in its own way is disappearing up its own asshole, but it has a point to it. Anyway, that's the end of the song. Thank you for.
You don't want to hit the back walls of the asshole.
No, not at all. Thank you to all the people who showed up tonight. I think this was a very fun, if very chaotic stream. We'll be back at least 3 more times before the presidential, before the election in 30 days, and then also for the election itself for something. Who fucking knows how that's gonna go? But we'll do it all right here on twitch.tv/Chapo Trap House. Stay tuned for more Matt and Alex. I'm signing off. Good night, everyone.